So for Africa, right, we already colonialism has taken that shift away from us. We cannot do something of that nature, right? We don't even have enough leaders, like, or we have multiple sets of leaders. There's also ethnicity, there's tribalism, different group, there's also religion. So that will not work for many African countries because if you want to do that, a lot of people will say no, your tribe cannot continue to be in power. So I think the best form will be some varied democracy in that aspect. That will be rotational, maybe from one tribe to another tribe, from one tribe to another tribe, to make the equation more balanced. We cannot go back to a monarch system; it won't work for us. We cannot even include any form of religion because in many countries in Africa, you have Christianity, you also have African mysticism. You also have Islam. You know, there are different kinds of religion ongoing. So you cannot use religion as a pivotal way to bring up new change in leadership. It won't work. But like currently now, the democracy we're doing is not something that may be suitable for our style. We might want to have a benevolent dictator that might stay for like 12 years and then he leaves for someone else to come in to continue with with the same ideas or ideology that his predecessor has. Other than that, we keep having issues, fights, and unrest in different parts of the continent.
I'd like
Okay,
to
so that,
say,
yeah,
go
go
on.
ahead, Mr. IC3.
Yeah, okay. The construction of society, the construction of religion, um, or people choosing to, so just like I keep saying, it's scalable. Just like once you get to know yourself, you then choose which faith you want. You see, I want to become a Muslim. You know, you choose. Yes, I want to become a Christian. Once you got, once you have that choice, the same applies to a people. A community could say, you know what, we should choose this form of government. We should choose this faith in order for our good. I think it works for us, just like you could say it works for me. So therefore, the real focus, I would say, is on the clarification of identity, and then let that group choose the faith that's best for them, or the religion that's best for them, or the political system that is best for them, rather than you trying to impose on a whole load of people. No, you create the conference, have the meeting of identities, and then let each identity develop and form their own form of government and religion.
Yeah, but why this obsession of going backwards, right? We already have nation states, we already have rules, government. Why don't we leverage that and then build from that, right? Because starting afresh is going to cause so many issues. Go ahead, Flexed Up.
No, no, no. I didn't have nothing in particular to say. I agree. I just feel like Africans don't even like some of the things that I'm hearing from people aren't even the reality that we're actually living. It feels as though people have been fed a narrative, or maybe they're noticing patterns but not noticing others that makes them see Africa in a way where I feel like we have a lot of tribal idealists, like people who think like I said earlier, everybody or a majority in a group is just going to agree with one another, and that those agreements, will last, or that the dynamics within groups will just remain static and have remained static. And I just don't believe that. I don't
And
believe it to be
Flexed up,
true.
flexed up.
that,
1 second. Wait, flexed up. Look at all the countries in Africa that have broken up in the let's say the last 30, 40 years. Which one of them can you say is successful? Eritrea, Sudan. Which one of these
None.
countries is successful? Look at Sudan. Both South and North Sudan are breaking apart as we speak. Both of them entrenched in a civil war. So North Sudan might be worse right now, but South Sudan is also in a civil war. It just doesn't get that much news. But even they are in a civil war. Look at either one of those countries. According to, and let's be honest, man, when North and South Sudan broke up, the the narrative was, oh, if it wasn't for the North Sudanese Arabs that are holding back the South Sudanese Nilots, oh, the South Sudanese Nilots would be doing so much better. They're being oppressed, yada, yada, yada. Look at both of them now. Both of them are being oppressed by themselves. They're both in a civil war, even with their broken country.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
I
okay. So
agree
let me.
with that assessment, and honestly, like, I just feel like there's like even splitting up a country. It's the irony of this whole. Like, I see a lot of irony with like a lot of Africans, right? Because the same
Yeah, the
people
reason
that
why
will
the
tell
reason why
you,
you see
give me
irony.
one second,
No, go
huh?
ahead.
Because
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
the same way they'll tell you that, oh man, it's the Berlin Conference, it's the borders. Oh man, it's us like paying attention to this borders. That is the issue. You splitting up a country, does that not acknowledge the borders? Does not acknowledge the nation state? So it just
Bro,
feels as though you're
Flexer,
doubling down
this
on
is like a
legitimizing that, no matter which way you
Flexer.
go.
This is a contradiction these people will never understand.
Yeah, I
Caesar, and
don't
I'm
know
going
if
to
they
use
get it.
Caesar. I'm going to use Caesar as an example. On one side of his mouth, you'll say, "Oh, the Europeans came, they divided us with these borders, blah 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 blah," and on the other side, he'll say he's pro Biafra. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm not gonna key into him in particular, but I get what you're saying.
Nah,
I'm just
Caesar,
saying
you
like the
here, Caesar.
sentiment.
How are you on one hand complaining that the Europeans broke up your Africans, and on the other hand, you want to break up your country of Nigeria as well?
Can you repeat that?
Jesus Christ! Flexed up.
No,
Please repeat it,
no,
bro.
no. The colonial masters didn't break up Africa, right? You know, within Africa, you still have different tribe
Thank
Yep.
you.
tongues. Like
Yep.
they didn't do that. What they did was within the African continent, they were able to like okay, rather than we because they themselves were having conflict on and where they should be able to govern in the African continent, where should be their colony. So the Berlin Conference was to sort out that conflict rather than them going to war over Africa. And they said, okay, within this part, the Belgium, you take this, Britain, you take this, France, you take this part. So already, if you go down like to Sudan, you could find that there were facial features that were quite different within the continent. You will also observe that their tongue or their language is also very different. What the Europeans did was not to allow Africans to grow on their own. They didn't allow Africans to become what they intend to become. Like for instance, go way back, you will observe that the Benin Empire, right from the 14th or the 13th century, was also going around and occupying various places, right down to Benin Republic. The empire stretched from Benin down to the west to Benin Republic, from
Yep.
the east down to Asaba. That empire was very big. So
Yep.
if we want to take that logically, and the Europeans allowed Africans to grow, we would have said the Benin Empire would have gone way down, even up to the north. Maybe there might be like some form of crisis or some form of attacks or retribution that might have pushed that empire backwards, right? So we were actually quite, yes, we had the same color, facial colors or, the skin color rather, but our language differs. And, whenever there is a fight or whenever there is a conflict, the victor would impose its culture on those they have captured. They will impose their language, they will also impose their religion. That was what was going on at that time. You find various tribes succumbing to the superiority of the Benin Empire, and even when the Benin Empire fell, you find other tribes succumbing to others who came after the Benin Empire, right? So just like we now all succumb to the Europeans, and many African countries started speaking French, other African countries started speaking English, and there you have it, and imbibing the cultures as well as the religions of the Europeans.
Can I ask you a question, Emeka? So, do you believe that colonialism was great for Africa in that at least it unified so many different tribes into a single nation state? Do you think it propelled us forward, or do you think that the natural progression of empires such as Benin would have done a better job by engulfing the other random, dusty, smaller tribes?
I'll be honest in my own opinion, and I will say this is actually my own opinion, right? Let the people determine its own fate. You understand? The stories being told were not true. The Benin Empire was really big. It was already trading, right? It was trading with the Portuguese. It was doing business around the empire, and the empire also had the city. If you Google it, you can Google it right as I'm speaking to you. You will observe that the empire, the Benin state, the Benin Empire itself, right there in Benin, had a very well arranged city. Right? Yes, it was enclosed, but it was a city. Then, if the Europeans didn't interrupt that progress, I believe
Yeah, but
Africans
who
would
burnt
choose
down
their
Benin
own
City?
fate.
Was
Yeah,
it the Europeans who burnt Benin, or was it the
it
Nigerians
was
who burnt down
no,
Benin?
it was the Britons, right? When they wanted the Oba of Benin refused to acknowledge them, and they came and they burnt down the place. They took the Oba of Benin. I think I can't remember the. It's they have several Obas, but they sent him on asylum to. Was it Calabar? Where I can't remember. I would
Mhm.
try to check the history. So they
Yeah,
burnt down
but
the place,
Emeka,
took artifacts away. Yep.
mhm. But Emeka, so this is one. The reason I asked that question is because it seems like security and lack of organization seems to be a recurring theme in all African cultures slash nation states or whatever. We lack organization and also we lack security. How come those lessons weren't like directly taught as if this is when the Chinese had the 100 years of whatever humiliation and the opiate war against them that the British put on them, the fact that they had to start fresh, so many Chinese people unfortunately met their demise due to the recreation of China. They learned lessons after the Europeans came in, did what they did to them. Just so many humiliating experiences. They learned from it. Then they learned lessons that we will never be in this position again. Why can't Africans realize those two things? Lack of organization and then also lack of security. You could also say security goes down into technology and being able to keep up with that. Kind of feeds itself. Why can't we learn these lessons and then focus on these lessons and build based on these principles?
Well,
It's
brother,
it's a narrative.
largely the insecurity going on in Africa is not directly attributed to Africans, right? There are lots of external players involved in this. And why do I say this? You can also do your research on it, and you will find out that most of
Yeah,
the insecurities going on in
right.
Africa,
No, we know this. We
it's
know
not
this.
been, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No, we know
it's
this. The question I'm asking is the
okay.
fact that we know that Africa is being
When you
they're post. One second, Caesar, and you can go after me. The fact that we know there's post-colonial actors who are working with other groups, funding certain terrorist group here and there. The fact that we know this happens, why can't we take into that into account and make sure that it never happens again? This is the issue that I have.
But
Knowing that yeah, go ahead.
let's be honest here, right? African is still not in terms of superiority, or in terms of, let's say, we are not equal to the Europeans at this stage in terms of technology, in terms of weapons. You understand? So, and most African countries are hemorrhage for their post-colonial masters. You understand? There's still neo-colonialism going on in the African continent. There's still the Europeans and the United States of America still dictate what goes on in the African continent. So in that respect, Africa is truly not free. So I know many times most of the coups that have gone on within African countries were sponsored by external factors and external actors. So these are people who want specific, maybe minerals or natural resources that to enrich their own country, and they will never want you to grow. That's the more reason why African is currently in the state that it is. And look at the media war that was waged on Africa for a very long time. Over let's say over 80 or 100 years, there's been a media war calling Africa a dump. When people think Africa is not a place of growth, why would individuals want to go to Africa to say I want to invest in this place, or I want to call this place my abode. I want to relocate back to Africa. I want to stay in Africa. Already you have a bad mindset of what Africa is. It is now that Africans are trying to retell their story and try to tell the outside world that you have been brainwashed on specific areas or specific things about Africa. It is a war. It is a mental war as well as a physical war to keep Africa the way Africa is. And that is why you find specific countries in Africa are trying to fight back their post-colonial masters and say enough is enough. We don't want you in our country anymore.
Right.
We want you out.
But
We want to
still,
determine our fate.
Mecca, the question is, why are we losing this mental war?
Wait, can I touch on that?
Yeah, go ahead, Caesar, first, and then
So
we'll go around.
I think that Africa and Asia are completely, they're different in the sense that all of our African nations, like we're still trying to develop what is a Nigerian, what is it called, Ivory Coastian or whatever, what are all these names that are kind of made up, what is a Kenyan, like these are new ideas. When they went over,
I can answer what a Nigerian is. According to the white woman who named Nigeria, Nigeria means the area where niggers can be found. Nigger area.
When you go to Asia, China was already a thing. India was already a thing. They didn't have the name India, but they were already. If you look at
Hindustan, etc. But yeah, go
exactly. And the shape is basically the same. Go to Thailand, go to Korea, go to Japan. They just conquered the nation. Go to Vietnam. They conquered the nation, but they didn't start redrawing maps like crazy. While in Africa, basically, I'd say most of the countries are kind of just made up. So when they left Korea, there was this sense of what Korea is already. And Korea was a nation for 1,000 years before the Japanese even got there, right? So if the Europeans had come to Africa and they had colonized the Benin Empire, but then left it to Benin Empire, you might have a different continuity than when you just merge us all together, because now there's power struggles going on in these nations. What is Nigeria? Is it an Islamic Republic? Are we doing what America's doing? Are we a combination of the three? What are we, right? Korea didn't have to answer these questions. They already knew, yeah, we're Korean. Oh, we're Japanese. Oh, we're Indian. We're Chinese. So we're in different situations. There's a power struggle going on in all these countries because we don't know who we are yet.
So, Caesar, let me ask you a question.
I agree with you.
Yeah, go ahead. Just before you go ahead, Emeka, and actually want to bring Flexed up in a second. Now, people say Kaiser can't moderate. The reason why they say that is because usually I'm dealing with zoos, right? This time when I'm dealing with human beings, all right? Anyways, shout out. The question here really is, Caesar, you're right, and so are you, Emeka. One of the issues is this, right? Yeah, one of the issues is this, though. What ways do you think Africa can... okay, here's the thing. We inherited systems. We inherited nation states. We inherited systems that may or may not have been in our best interest, right? The East used their version of very integrated English common law with their own versions of traditional law that they've kind of found a way, like Japan's is a perfect example of that. They have a very interesting legal system where they really rarely punish crimes unless it's very severe. Things like, rape, murder, etc. The ones who really go to prison. Other crimes, they kind of try to have some kind of social... you go back to the person that you committed the crime, you try to somehow make up for it, etc. When I was in Japan, even the trains, you don't have to pay because they don't check, because they trust that people will just do what's right in their society. So I guess the question here is, do you think it will take a long time before Africa industrializes and moves forward? Because we have just inherited systems. Most Africans, from my experience, don't even know what a nation state is. Like when they ask me my tribe, when I say I don't have a tribe, I'm just Kenyan. To them, they cannot fathom that, and I'm being serious, right? I'm not talking about the educated elites. I just mean the average normal African who's gone through university. They can't fathom the idea that I am just Kenyan and that I don't have a tribe.
Yeah, because we all belong to a tribe in Africa, regardless of what state or what nation you are. We're all we're a nation made up of tribes. So
That's right.
it's strange. to an African man when you say I am a Kenyan and I don't belong to a tribe. They look at you
Mm,
strangely, like you don't know what you're saying because it's like a community, right? A unit or a group of family forms a community. A community forms a town. A town forms a region. A region
That's
forms
right.
probably a province
Yeah.
or a state. So you have to drill it down to the nitty gritty. That's why when you asked me, "Am I Igbo?" I said, "Yes, I am Igbo because that's my
mhm.
tribe." Right?
Yeah.
So it's just like me going around saying I am Nigerian, and somebody say, "Okay, I know you're Nigerian, but what tribe are you from?" I say, "I don't have a tribe." The person is going to look at me weird, like, "Are you sure you're truly a Nigerian? Because if you're truly a Nigerian, you must belong to a tribe." Not and in also in Nigeria, it's not just three tribes that we have. We have over like 150 tribes. You understand? But the major tribes are the Igbos, the Yorubas, and the Hausas, right? And within the Hausas, you also have like the Funanis, and you have I've forgotten the other one.
Mm.
I'll try to remember. Then you go, you also see the Benis, you also see the
Yeah,
Ishans, you
Edo,
also see,
those places.
yeah, which is
Ijo,
which
etc.
Ijaw, the Jaws, many of them they form the Edo state, the Delta state. You understand? So when you say I'm from Kenya and you don't belong to a tribe, it sounds weird. They look at you. Okay, are you truly a Kenyan? You should belong to a tribe. And from a tribe, then they should ask you, okay, it is from your tribe. They begin to ask you, okay, what's your village? Then from your village, oh, what's your father's last name, so they can be able to trace who your ancestors are. So every African is down right through his tribe. You must trace them right down to their tribe. And because where if you go way back, Africans, we were all tribe who belong to each tribe, and the fights were between tribes. So if like there were no interference by the Europeans, maybe a stronger tribe would have been able to conquer all, and everybody will now belong to that tribe, speak their language, imbibe their culture, imbibe whatever religion that is being imposed on us by that strong tribe, and then we move along. And then, like, I think I don't know what the last person before you that spoke was talking about. Okay, that the identification, right? That is the identification. Like the Koreans were able to identify themselves because somebody has already unified that entire system together. And even when the Europeans step in and stepped out, they knew who they were initially. They knew, oh, we all belong to this. Those weaker tribes are all gone. Now we now align ourselves with this language, with this culture, with this behavior, and they moved along. Same thing with the Chinese. I think I was watching.
Can I ask a question real quick? Just about
What's it?
I feel like we misrepresent as Africans, like some of these Asian countries. How was North Korea and South Korea divided? They're all Korean. Can you answer that for me?
Basically, it should be tribe. It is
Communism
basically
versus
the difference would be, yes, they might to an external person they might look alike, but within them they know themselves. It should be the difference between, oh, my tribe is different from your tribe, or my community is different from your community, and that's caused that segregation within, even within Nigeria itself, right? Someone like a European would, you might see us probably in the Nigerian community, right? We're all sitting down and we're trying to have a good time. An external party will say, "Oh, this is a community of Nigerians just having a good time." But within us, we know the differences. We know our tribe. We know, oh, this is an Igbo man, this is a Yoruba man, and this is an Hausa man. But we all share something in common together because there's a specific language or way of communication that we speak that we can all relate with. There's food that we all share together. We've also intermarried each other, right? But we know our tribe, we know our differences. Same thing with when I go to South
May I
Africa,
interject
the
just
Zulus.
real quick?
Yep, please.
So North and South Korea, you know that that division was caused by the Korean War,
There was a
and
Korean War, I agree, yeah.
you know that it was a Cold War conflict, correct?
Correct, it is.
Yet they're still
Yeah.
divided till the present day. You have an economically successful Western aligned Southern Korea separated from their brothers to the North Koreans, which are Chinese backed,
Yeah.
right?
See, the
Till
same
this
thing is
day.
similar with Hong Kong and mainland China. It's the same thing. Similar with the Hong Kong and
I
mainland
wouldn't
China,
say
right?
that's similar. I would say it's a little different that way too. I just think that we kind of are trying to
Uh,
flatten Asia, and I think Asia's
Why talk
development
about Asia?
has more to do with Cold War conflicts and rivalries, and playing geostrategy, as well as, of course, bringing in the economic element as always. I'm
So,
not sure that it has to just do with culture.
so how would you apply that knowledge that you have to the unification of so-called Black Africa?
Well,
Okay, please proceed. For me, in my own opinion, I don't think we still, despite the fact that we're black people, we're still a lot more different from each other, right? We're still different. Yes, we may share some um, common trait, but we're still different from each other. Now, the main thing, I think the main question is how do we progress going forward?
Exactly.
How do we
Solution.
progress?
So
Yes,
where's
how
the
do we
problem?
how
Yeah.
do we progress going forward?
Yeah.
Now, here
So what's your
comes
plan?
where, like the African Union. I think the African Union is trying to unify all the countries together so we can have one common currency, so we can have a common passport, and freedom of movement between Africans. It's quite unfortunate that within African, I need a visa to go to specific countries in Africa, and as an African. It is strange. It is also strange that for me to trade in Africa, I need to pay specific.
Okay.
Tariff will
Okay.
be imposed on us. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
very
Okay.
strange, right?
This is
So
simple points. Come on, please, please. Let's come
I
on.
see three. Can I
Af-
ask you? Can
African
I?
Union.
yeah,
Okay. What is an African by the African Union standards? If you was to
mhm.
ask an official at the African Union, okay, this is a union of Africa. What is your definition of an African? What is the official definition of an African by African Union standards?
That's a very tough question. Anyway, let me see if I can attempt to answer it because if you're looking at if you yeah, it's a very tough question. Why do I say it's a tough question? Is that within the African Union we have, like, I think 56 countries, and then why are we together is basically for economic progress. Yes, we've been able to identify that we are all Africans, but it's economic progress to move from one state of economic impoverishment and then progress to economic enrichment. That is the basic motive and objective of the African Union, to trade amongst each other, to resolve our conflicts in house, and to move and to progress economically. So, still yet, you still find external actors not trying to ensuring that the African Union does not do what they are supposed to do. So, to answer your question, is economic progress for Africans.
I would disagree. The African Union, the purpose of it is the exact opposite, is to maintain confusion. Because the foundation of the African Union should be the first thing between any union is to clarify exactly who it is or who they are that are being unified. If from the very foundation you can't clarify who it is you are unifying, then obviously that thing is set up for confusion. It's set up to fail. Well, that's the first thing that should be clear. Who exactly are you unifying?
So the AU, according to them, they have 5 regions:
Yes,
North, West, Central, East, and Southern Africa. I don't see the
correct.
mention on the Caribbean, the diaspora part. I don't know if that's a recent one. They added the
No, the diasporas are not involved in the African Union.
okay. So there's 5 regions. You guys have heard it.
They call
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
actually
five
the
region
sixth
of
and
who?
within
region.
and
Of
within
what?
and within these regions, right, you have the ECOWAS, which is for the West African Economic Communities Organization of West African States. You also have the Central African communities too. You have the Southern African. You also have the Northern Africans. And most likely the Northern Africans, like the Morocco, the Egyptians, and the Algerians, they are mostly Arab countries that tend to
What is
want to
an
look towards the
African?
Middle East.
So wait, I want to add
You
one more
What
thing.
understand?
is an
So guys,
African?
remember Morocco is not in the AU because of their whole Western Sahara conflict. And here's one more thing.
Oh my
In
god.
2016, the African Union denied membership to Haiti, saying that you have to be membership is limited to only African states. So Haiti, according to the AU in 2016, is not an African state.
It's not an African state. It's quite sad, right? You know that Haiti, who applied to become a member of the African Union, is being denied. It's very, very unfortunate, right? Because we should be unifying all Black people across the planet
Oh,
together.
hold it.
And
You mentioned the word
like
black.
what you
Quick
said,
question
yeah,
Oh,
hmm
you
for
mentioned the
Caesar.
word black.
yeah,
Antonio,
right. No, no, I
Caesar,
have
can I
to.
ask you a
African
question?
I
Union. Does the African Union recognize black identity, racial identity? Does the African Union see any value
No, it doesn't.
racial? There you
no,
go. So it's
I was no. You see, we are yet to even solve the rudimental issues yet, and I was trying to explain. I know where you're trying to push the ideology to. Where, like, first and foremost, we all know Africa is a poor continent. It shouldn't be a poor continent because it is rich in various natural resources and minerals, right? But the main foundational problem is to solve the economic situation in Africa. Let us address that. And also, Africa has a high state of insecurities that needs to be addressed. For instance, now we've now had coups within 5 or 6 or 7 years now, right? We're having military taking over power. So those issues need to be addressed. When there is security, then you now address poverty, then you are now moving into economic prosperity. With economic prosperity comes with other ideologies. And then you are now also looking at, okay, we also have blacks or Africans in the diasporas or African black people in all the places in the world who may look at what we have achieved, what we have accomplished, and want to be member state. Like we all say, success has many fathers, but once you're a failure, nobody wants to deal with you. But when you've gotten your stuff together, that is when you might be looking at Jamaica who might say, okay, let's go join the African Union so that we can also progress, we can also trade, we can also do business together. Haiti would also be looking at it. And then your house is already clean. You will be able to take in more people, right? Now look at African. For the very first time, for a very long time, they are now being admitted into the G20. Now Africa now has a seat. That's the African Union, an entire continent on its own, now has a seat in the G20 for a very long time. Well, we could say it's progress, or maybe they are afraid that they are pushing Africa to Russia, probably, to China, probably. And then they're like, okay, we need to act quickly. Let's see Africa as a place where we can embrace their own ideas, where they can also put forward their own objectives, where they can also talk to us about what they want, and then we can see how we can partner together for the very first time. And the meeting is currently
one
still
moment, one
holding in
moment.
India.
Okay, watch this. You said quite a number of things there. So the word is priorities. What are your priorities in this context? What should be sorted out first? You're saying the economy should be sorted out first. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, correct. The
Okay.
economy should be
I would
sorted out
say,
first.
I'd like to hear other people. I would say identity needs to be sorted out first.
Identity is already sorted out. We
No,
already
no,
in
no, no,
well,
no, no. It's
no,
obviously not.
why
It's
say no,
not.
let me
You know
correct
what
that
an African
impression
is?
for
You
I
can't
need to
define
correct the
it.
impression. I need to
You
correct that
cannot
impression.
define an African, so it's not
No,
sorted out.
I need to no African. If you want to say who are Africans, right? I need to correct that impression. Identity has already been sorted out. We all belong to different countries, 50 states countries, right? We all belong to different tribes. We know where we are from. We know what we are. We are black people.
No,
We
no.
belong to. Oh,
Anyway,
let me correct the impression. We are black people existing on the African continent. We are black people that exist amongst 56 countries, and within that 56 countries, we have our own country, Without that state nation, we also have our own tribe. So we know our identity. But what we need to identify is our ideology. What is our ideology? What is our plan? What is going to be our 10, 15, 50 years goals? What are we trying to let the world know about us? That is what we need to define. That was why I was trying to be very careful. But in terms of identity, yes, we have defined our identity. Ideology is what we are yet to clarify, identify, and also pursue.
Okay. I heard you. I understand you, but I disagree. Does anybody else have anything to say about the list of priorities? What should be first?
Um. Okay. I mean, I think that's a very loaded question. What should be first? Um. Industrialization.
Industrialization. Okay.
It's still part of economy.
Anybody can say that. Okay,
Industrialization
how
is
do
still
you
part of economy.
industrialize? How do you did exactly? That comes in under economy. So
It's
how
still
do you
part of economy.
industrialize if you're not for industrialization? The first step is identity. You have to organize the people effectively in order to make the correct decisions in order to industrialize. Who
So,
are you
No,
organizing?
for me, I
no.
think
See, it comes with identity, ideology, where you now also have objectives. With your ideology, that's when you're like, okay, what are my objectives? Your objectives forms your ideology. So with identity, there is no identity crisis in Africa. Please, let's
What?
be corrected on this. There
exactly.
is
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
honestly,
here we
there is
go.
no identity crisis. There is no identity. Forget about the conflict. There is no identity crisis in Africa. There might be religious crisis, but there is no identity crisis. Everyone knows who and where they are from. So the problem now is the identity crisis is not there. It is the ideology crisis that is there. What do we stand for? What do we believe for? And what do we ought to do going forward? That is the crisis that we have in Africa. And that is what the AU is addressing. And within its sectional community states like the ECOWAS, like the Gambit, and that's what they are
Can I?
addressing. That was why Tinubu was saying, no, we will not allow the military take over power in West Africa. He is rearranging and reorganizing the ideology. What he is pushing is within ECOWAS, we want and we stand for democracy. Regardless of what you want to call that democracy, democracy is what we stand for. That's an ideology. That's not an identity crisis. That's an ideology that you're saying the way we want to govern our people, the way we want to rule our people, the way we want to exist and coexist within this community or within the West African region is true democracy. And when the military takes power by the gun, we will not accept that. That's an ideology. And once that has been addressed, and you now come to the center, which is the AU, we've addressed our ideology. We are now saying within the African Union, we believe in democracy. We stand in we stand for democracy, and we want to be ruled and governed by democracy. In that way, we've identified our ideology, the way we want to be ruled, what kind of government we want. And then we now also begin to speak, what kind of trade do we want to embark on? Do we want a
All right,
free
this
trade
somebody else.
center?
Yeah, we
Can
got your point.
can
Good point.
I see three? I actually have a point for you, right? So even outside of race, right? Like let's even go outside of race, right? If you look at what Caesar posted in the back chat, he posted basically the regions. So what I will say is, even if you want to say that race isn't defined, right? I get this, but regions have been defined.
Hmm.
Like most people know what a West African is. Most people know what a Central African is. Most people know what a South African and an East African are.
Yeah,
Yes,
You
that
know,
point
correct.
is
those might be
most.
the most
Correct.
defined. Those might be, although very loose, although may include very, like a lot of different cultures, the
Yes.
regional blocks are actually the most defined within Africa, which is crazy, right?
So that word most, you see, and I noticed you use the word loose. You see, let that loose. If you're trying to do some engineering, precise engineering, social engineering, like Rolls Royce, yeah, you need good quality engineering, social engineering, in order to function effectively. If your social engineering is poor and loose, right, then you have chaos and things fall apart. So when it comes to identity, it must be precise in order, and the relative to the quality of your identity, your identification and codification systems, is relative to the quality of your ability to hold society together and avoid chaos.
You're chopping up, I think.
Yeah, the quality of your identity measure is the measure of the quality of your organization and your ability of the society to avoid chaos.
So if I could just chime in, I really don't think identity is the biggest issue, even though we do. So a lot of people claim we have a nationalism issue because everyone's all about their tribe. I think that as an individual, the only thing I can do is be a businessman, right? That's the only thing I can do. But as a government, I think the biggest thing the governments can do is this push. When you talk to even other West Africans, there's this centralization in most African nations that leads to no progress, right? So there's a lot of bureaucracy. If you need to do anything, you have to go to the federal government. That seems to be a common thing. Someone from Sierra Leone came in and said that basically all the local governments and state governments are basically just like figureheads in Sierra Leone. That really, the federal government controls everything. That's the executive branch. It's going to be the president, the VP, blah 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 blah. So I think if you can push, so instead of one leader saying, "Look, we're going to build a big train in the capital that goes here," right? He's busy. He has a lot going through his mind. One man can only do so much. If there's that push for decentralization where each state government is able to focus on the problems on their specific state, I think that will lead to a lot more industrialization at a much quicker rate than just letting one guy in the capital kind of handle. One man can only do so much. And I think that's a common problem across Africa. So let me add more one thing. I think African nations are scared that if they decentralize, there's going to be a coup, right? There's this big issue. But what they should realize is control the military. Focus on controlling the military. They need to pass laws where there's not a worry about a coup. But economically speaking, I mean, you can't do everything. One man can't do everything. Come on.
Yo,
Now, you
so
just touch.
real
Okay,
quick.
please go ahead.
Yeah, real quick.
I mean, in
So
Nigeria, you can't build an airport. You can't build a port. You can't build, some of the state governors are crying. They want to fix a federal road. They say the government won't let them. It's like, why do you have to beg the government to build an airport? What is going on here? I don't know.
Because in every country, right? Just like you also have in the United States, you're still being governed by the Constitution. There's a Constitution, and there are also various laws that are in place, right? So now we unlike every other law, I know the United States Constitution has been amended for how many times now? We are yet to amend, or we've just made only one amendment of our constitution since 1999, which was the Fourth Republic, and we have various issues that requires us to amend our constitution for us to progress further, right? You're speaking about decentralization, which you are truly correct, and for us to progress economically, we need to deregulate and decentralize power across the states. We need a situation whereby each state would be responsible for its own mineral resources or natural resources, and exploit these resources for the benefit of its people, and also likewise trade or export them to any other consumers anywhere in the world. But we don't have that now because all resources have been governed or by the constitution. You being controlled by the federal government, especially the crude oil, right? So in this situation, that has been one of the major issues we have. We don't even have state police. I don't live in Nigeria yet. Well, I lived most of my life in Nigeria anyway. Like where you like you have in the United States, you have the police, the state police in Arizona. You also have community police. We don't have that. What we have is federal police, and then we have a population growth of over 200 million, and you're being governed by a population by a police strength of 200,000 people. That's roughly how many percent? That's 1%, right? So we need to decentralize that power, and by doing that, a governor can't just go ahead and start employing state police. He can't do that. He's violating the constitution. We now need to amend the constitution to address these concerns, because by not doing that, and we know the constitution is the highest law in the land, whichever law that does not apply with the constitution will be thrown off. If you don't do that, people will take you to court, and the constitution will override that law, and then don't have any other powers of what you need to do. Like, for example, you cited the federal road. The federal road is the sole responsibility of the federal government. But these roads cut across different states. Now the road is bad. The people who are suffering from the bad road are those where the state where the road is. So they would look at the governor and they will say, this governor is not understanding our plight. We keep flying this road, this bad road, and we're suffering from it. And then the governor will try to explain, it is a federal road. I can't commit resources on this road because the federal government may not refund me back my money or the state's money. And if you go ahead to do that, it's at a loss for the resources that, and we all know resources are very scarce. So now what some of these governors would do is to go meet the federal government or the minister of works and have an agreement. I want to fix this federal road. This is the cost of the road. How are we going to go about it? Should I proceed to fix this road and then you refund me back the funds, or do we split it 70-30? And most times the minister, that's the federal minister, will say, okay, proceed, or no, don't do that. We already have it in our budget. Now, guess what? You have a federal road already in the budget for the Minister of Works. And then you have a state governor who wants to go ahead to fix that road. You see the conflict of interest in here. So our problem now is we need to address our constitution and amend our constitution so that it will be suitable for us to progress further. Now we're talking about resource control. We're talking about state policing. With state policing, that will be able to address specific insecurity issues that are going on in different states. Not only state policing, we also need community policing, so that the policing would go down right to the community and address the specific concern, because each communities are not the same. The insecurity in a specific community might be different from the insecurity in another community. It might be some concerns, it might be a tribe who is fighting over specific things that are different. You understand? So we need that going on, and to get that, we need our constitution, that is the highest law in our land, to be amended to fix some of these issues. With that, yes, definitely we will progress. And that is what the current president is looking at the moment, in a way to call for constitutional reforms and get the constitution amended. And then and only would we have the powers that would need to use to progress economically. And I can tell you for a fact, like, I don't know if you know Lagos State very well. That's the most progressive state in Nigeria, and likewise the most progressive state in Africa. Regardless, yes, we could say Johannesburg or whatever. Yet we are Lagos State is the most progressive state in Africa. Lagos State, to bypass the constitution, decided to do a neighborhood watch. Right? They didn't want to call it Lagos State Police. They started to do a neighborhood watch so that they don't contravene the exempt laws of the Constitution and don't put themselves into trouble. Many states have seen that we need to address some of the insecurities and crimes within our state, but their hands are tied because the Constitution do not allow them to do that. But when the Constitution is being amended, you now have resources that you can control for yourself. You now have more money for yourself. You are not just sharing money from the center. You have money to pursue your own progressive ideas. Most definitely, you will begin to see a lot of economic change and radical change for that matter.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Please
please.
do.
Do you, this is just a question because I don't know the dynamics. Do you think, like, for example, the state police problem in Nigeria, right? Do you think if citizens in different states, just across the country, no matter the region that you live in, started to create their own neighborhood watches and pretty much take, justice into their own hands, right? Do you think that the Nigerian state would respond by trying to institute some sort of state police that they have some sort of supervision over in response to
Currently now,
some sort of grassroots state police or neighborhood watch? Like, are you understanding my question?
I don't. I think I try to understand your question, but
Yeah.
again, no state in the country is allowed to have a state police,
No,
right?
I'm
You're
saying
not allowed to.
so you were saying with Lagos State, for example,
Yeah,
they
they would.
were kind of able to bend the rules a little bit by instituting a neighborhood watch, right?
Correct.
Like,
Yes.
cause the Constitution, at the end of the day, it's a piece of paper, it's a guideline, right?
Yeah.
It's a guideline. So, do you think
I
that
will. I
if
will
there was
call.
a
I will call it.
Same
I
grassroots,
will
here
call.
in the
I
UK.
will call. I will call our
Neighborhood
constitution the
watch.
guideline. By the way, because
do no, 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 I'm
Have it in
saying
the UK.
I'm saying it in that it does not govern the law of physics. It doesn't stop people from saying, okay, we'll create our own. Maybe
oh,
Nigerian officials cannot, but it
mhm.
doesn't stop people from being like, okay, I'll start my own de facto state
it, it,
police, right?
it,
So
it,
that's
it
part
does.
one of
It
my
does.
question of my
It does.
scenario. So
It does in the sense that okay, you want to create a state police, whatever name you want to give that security outfit, right? You want to maybe crime watch, neighborhood watch, whatever name you want to give it. It's a security outfit, right? Now it contravenes the constitution. One, you also have to look at funding. Now, with you trying to, Lagos
yes,
State is a rich state. It's the richest state in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, the
It's almost
GDP
half.
for Lagos. Yeah, the GDP for Lagos is like the third or the fourth GDP in Africa. So it's a rich state that can afford to do that. Rather than calling it a Lagos state, they can call it a neighborhood watch. They can afford the salaries of those who are involved in that organization or the security outfit. But other states are not as rich as Lagos. For them to be able to get to that stage, you might need some form of constitutional amendment so that they can empower themselves to create these kind of security operatives. Not only that, they can also empower themselves to say, okay, I have these resources within my purview. I can do that. I can sell this and generate funds for my state. And then
okay.
with that, I can now provide specific services that is required for the citizens or the residents in the state. So
Can I
with
ask
that,
my
with that,
question and can I ask my
okay,
question in a different way?
all right, please.
Yeah, so let me rephrase it. Do you think that the Nigerian state, the central government, is more likely to grant you state police because A, there's a threat within various states in Nigeria to security, or B, because a group of vigilantes decided to create their own
All
de
right. Good
facto
question.
state polices. Do you see what I'm
Very good
saying?
question.
So
Yeah. Very good.
that's the
Very
way I'm
good.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Good
So
question. Actually.
I'm going to tell you that
So
they're
basically, I'm
existing.
asking, are they more threatened by um, these
Private.
forces or more threatened by their power being challenged, their monopoly on
That's right.
violence being
Yeah,
challenged?
they're
That's what I'm
threatened.
asking.
They're threatened by their
Hmm.
power being challenged. Because the government, when people pay taxes to have the police do their job, if the taxpayers start feeling that the government is not doing its job and start doing it by themselves privately, then that's a shame. The government loses face, and then
Okay,
and if they're losing face, there's a chance that they might start losing money. So
Yeah.
no,
so
no,
yes,
no, no, not really. Technically, I think you raised the vital point, right? That challenge to them consolidating power for themselves. Um, More or less, I would want to say yes. And why do I want to say yes? Because for the security part of it, I don't think that it's a concern. right? That's not the concern. That's not the main concern. The main concern, because now since 1999 right down to 2000, 2023, we've just done only one amendment. And that was done in 2003, I think so, 2003. Yeah. Now, if we call for constitutional amendment, it means not just security concerns would be injected into that constitutional amendment. There will also be state resource control. There will also be other vital issues, pertinent and salient issues that would be incorporated into that constitution, because you don't know when the next constitutional amendment will be called for again. So with that means, okay, the federal government is now losing some of that central control that they used to have. Change scares people. Let's be honest. Change can be scary. So
Ameka,
yeah.
real quick. I just want to like unlock this. I really want to understand like the underlying points, right? Do you so you keep mentioning like procedural routes, and I understand that. But would you say that the procedures in Nigeria are working or are not currently working? That's my first question before I follow up.
Okay.
These
No,
procedures,
no, we are being hindered by
yes.
many. We are hindered by our constitution. We need to amend our constitution so that we can make some
So
giant progressive step.
so
Yes.
Nigeria, you would say, is bureaucratic. It's very bureaucratic, right?
For one, yes, I would say that. Yeah.
Yes. And you would also say that, would you say that the Nigerian government is A, more proactive, or B, more reactive?
Yeah, it's very reactive.
Very reactive. So if you know that the subject is very reactive, why wouldn't you try and approach what that they would be forced to react to? That's essentially
Okay.
my question. So I'm trying to think from this angle to
Mm-hmm.
attack kind of the issue that you've raised, which is the state police issue in this case.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So now I get a very lovely observation and question anyway. But then again, right, like I keep saying, we do not have an identity problem because we already know who we are. And because we already know who we are, we've taken a position based on that. Now, for some people, if you know Nigerian politics very well, you will know that um, in the north, they are more politically sophisticated than those in the south. Now, those in the north, because they are more politically sophisticated, they do not want to lose that power in that right? In this aspect, we cannot blame the government in terms of, oh, you are not proactive enough. There have been cries, there have been median cries, there have been activists calling for constitutional amendments way long. But they need to be able to address some specific fears about that constitutional amendment. Some people are worried, or some ethnic groups or tribes are worried that if there's a constitutional amendment, they might not be favored. Some other actors are worried that, oh, if there's a constitutional amendment, we might not get the required resources that we think we deserve to get. So with that, you need to allay those fears. You need to let them understand that the constitutional amendment is for the good of the country, even though they know. So now I'm trying to draw your attention to the fact that yes, within the Nigerian politics, there's still an ethnic centric situation going on there. They say an ethnic politics still in play, largely in play, that really defines the holistic way we govern ourselves. So, for instance, you might have some people who um, would pursue a nomadic lifestyle, and then you're saying, oh, within my state, I don't want you to bring your nomadic lifestyle into my state, and that is already a threat for them. And if that's the way of life and the way they earn their own living, they would not want you to change that situation, right? That's just an example off the top of my head. So with that, that's the reason why we're having these delays. For instance, we're supposed to have a census to determine the actual number of the population, and that has not been done for over how many years now. And we're calling for that because based on that census, we'll be able to know the kind of resources that will be allocated, the way, and likewise the local government councils that need to be created based on the census. The higher the population, the higher the local government council. And then again, if you have more local government councils, you would definitely have more House of Representative in the House of Representative. That's the House of Assembly. So with more local government councils comes with people who are going to represent those local government. Now, currently, the Northerners have more representative in the House of Assembly or in the House of Representatives. You understand? So we have an House of Assembly which comprises of the Senate and the House of Representatives. So if you have more local government areas, you have more people who are going to represent those local government areas. And then when you are challenging specific issues, you have more counts. Which more counts comes you challenging issues that are going on. And because these people have more numbers in the House of Representatives, they will not want you to change the constitution. Do you understand the politics going on now? He left?
Oh, I think he's gone. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I still disagree with you in terms of all the things had to be sorted out.
He ran. He
Identity
came.
first.
He came back. He had to protect his IQ from being destroyed by a Nigerian.
That's a funny
Yeah,
one.
I lost connection for a second, but I just want to say like I just feel like the only way to get some of these governments to react is by doing something that will force them to react, because like
Yes,
that is their nature.
that's
So
right. That's their nature. Yeah.
sometimes you have to go and honestly, I'm
Rather,
at,
I will rephrase that, right? It's not
okay.
just
Oh,
the
come on, let
government.
him
I'll
finish. Let him
rephrase
finish.
it like
Come on,
politicians,
Justin,
right?
you speak so long. Let him say
No,
something.
okay.
You're not realizing how long you're speaking for.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's no problem at all. But so I guess for me, like you're talking about the procedure, but I'm wondering, one, this is a question that I have for you, yes or no. Do you think that there's a solution beyond the Constitution, an immediate solution beyond constitutional norms and procedures in Nigeria specifically?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't get the question. Were you asking a question?
Yeah, I was asking you, Emeka.
Okay, please, can you repeat the question? I had some
Yeah.
connection.
Do you believe there are solutions outside of the constitutional norms and procedures in Nigeria?
I'll be honest here, right? I know where you're driving this conversation to.
Yeah.
You see, it's just like there's a simple example is there are driving laws that you don't need to contravene. So when the road sign says 60 miles or 60 kilometers, you have to drive within that speed limit, right? Now we know the
No, I
solutions.
only have to drive within it as long as no one catches me. That's
No,
I think the distinction I'm making. That's the
okay.
distinction. And honestly, Nigeria, I feel like y'all understand that concept. You
Yeah,
know.
we do. Yeah. So the point is, right? We still governed by our constitution. Whatever you're doing, if you're contravening the constitution, you're only going to get yourself burnt. At some point in time, you're only going to land yourself in trouble. So we know the solution. We know our problems. We know the solution. And most of the problems is because we need to amend our constitution. And when we do amend our constitution, we will be able to deliver the solutions. Now, I know you keep referring to the government. That was why I wanted to correct that impression. It is not the government. The government is a set of class, a political class, right? So it is the politicians that are withholding, like you have the opposition force and you have those who might be involved in governance. Let's say, for instance, those who are involved in governance wants to change the constitution, but it does not suit a specific political class. They keep shouting and pushing back that no, we don't want you to amend the constitution. And then again, because in right in depth into our constitution, it made because our constitution is so rigid in the sense that to amend specific clauses in the constitution is so bothersome. Some people do not want to initiate or call for it. For instance, if you want to change a clause in the constitution, it first of all must go through the federal representative, where you are going to have a majority vote on it, and then it goes to the Senate, to the House of Senate, where you're also going to have a majority vote for it, and that would now go down to all the 36 states that we have in the country, to all their state of assemblies, and each and every one of them would vote on that issue, right? They will vote on the
Mecca,
issue, and it,
I
yep,
have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to kind of bounce ideas because you're bringing me information that I don't have. So, for Nigeria, how does so basically, what is the Overton window for Nigerian legislation? How does Nigerian legislation enter the arena, if that makes sense? I know that legislators probably write it, but where
yeah,
do legislators in Nigeria get their ideas from to basically their ideas to write legislation off of or from?
yeah, it can be sponsored by a legislator. It can be sponsored by specific interest group or specific community, or maybe a multinational. It can be sponsored by anybody, but first and foremost, after the law is being sponsored, you bring it up to the House of Representatives, or it might be sponsored by a senator who will bring it up for reading, first reading, and it reads it out, and then they debate on it. It goes through second reading through the same process. And if it's sponsored by the Senate, it has to go to the House of Representatives. If it's being sponsored by the House of Representatives, it has to go to the
Okay.
Senate. Yeah. So if it's not a
Okay,
constitutional amendment,
so various interest groups. Are there any
yeah.
interest groups in particular or multinational firms in particular? Or is there any force in particular that has maybe a large influence on the legislation that gets written or the ideas that get discussed that then become legislation? Are you understanding
Yeah,
me?
I do. I know what you're saying. Yes,
Are
there
there
are
any in
specific,
particular?
like, yeah, but I can't. There's, yeah, of course, like you could have financial institutions who want to change, or they want to enact some specific clauses into the way financial transactions could be governed in the country. So banks could come around and meet a legislator and sponsor a bill. You understand, or a specific community would say, okay, we don't like the way things are going on in our community. Let's approach our representative so we can sponsor a bill to address that. Or some civil societies, like maybe human rights or women's rights or child's rights societies, may come around and say, oh, we want more rights for women, we want more rights for the people who want more rights for children. So they go meet their representative or representative in charge of that specific cause, and then sponsor a bill. So it is being done that it's been done that way. And once that bill is being sponsored, it has to go through readings and the rest. Now the difference between that and once it's been, it goes through the House of Representatives and the House of Senate, then automatically the president will sign it into law. But the difference between that and constitutional amendment is that it has to go through all the states, all the 36 states in the country. And before, if every state agrees to that clause, then it now goes and it becomes a law. And that it becomes a change in the constitution. Now imagine some states that do not want that to happen. They are not going to agree to it. So technically, it means if you are going to start lobbying senators or lobbying House of Representatives, you also must go around to lobby all the state assemblies. There are representatives in different states in the country. It's a burdensome tax. It's a burdensome tax. I'll be honest with you.
Okay. So, okay, for example, for the US, right? I can name particular interest groups. I can name the military industrial complex. I can name pharmaceutical industry. I can name some big power players. Are there any big domestic power players, industries, or
Not really.
um,
Not really. I know what you're saying. Not really. Not
yeah? So
really.
there's none. So would you say that it's more likely that a foreign interest group may be able to get certain laws in before a domestic interest group in Nigeria?
Well, technically, foreign interest groups are not supposed to interfere in our domestic issues, right? Because we're a sovereign state. So I don't expect like an Exxon Mobil to want to lobby House of Representatives to begin to change specific things within the crude oil situation, right? It's an aberration. I don't think it's something we might want to tolerate because first and foremost, we might want our force. Plight will be to the communities, to the
Yeah.
oil producing communities, and not rather to an external or a foreign
No,
actor. No.
I
So
get how it
yeah,
should be, but do you think that that is the
well,
reality?
what it happens, I'll be honest, it happens everywhere. So it happens
Yeah.
maybe, but I am not aware, but I know it would happen because they want probably some laws that may favor them. It happens everywhere. So I don't think I've never seen. I'll be honest. I don't want to say things off the top of my head, and I
Yeah, I
like to be
get
very
you.
factual, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I get
I've
you.
never seen when there's a cry that external actors or multinationals were interfering within our domestic laws or paying the legislators to write a bill for them. No, I've never seen that.
Yeah. This is my last one because I don't want to monopolize the conversation, but can you name one Nigerian interest group? One domestic independent Nigerian interest group, or not interest group, think tank. Can you name one?
I think we have
Like
like
the US has Heritage Foundation. What do you have?
the human rights advocates the group. We have that. We have those who are involved in um, um, right for children and domestic violence advocates group. We do have that. We don't have things like the military industrial group. Well,
You
this
don't have a
homo is
Heritage
going on.
Foundation. Like you don't have a Nigerian version of the Heritage Foundation, right?
No, what do they do? I don't know about them. What do they do?
They basically create ideas which then may eventually become legislation. So it's pre-legislation, the ideation phase of the
Or think
legislation,
tank?
yeah, mechanism. Yeah,
Or
that's what
like
a think
you
tank
have
is.
some think tank? Yeah, we okay.
Can you hear me? I wasn't.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. I had some interruption.
Oh, okay, okay,
So I said I'm not aware of them. It might exist, but I'm not aware of them because
okay, okay.
I don't expect a legislator to think over the top of his head on the kind of laws he wants to pursue. Right? That should come from a think tank or a group of people who want to push an idea. So well, it should exist, but I'm not aware of them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all I really had. Like my thoughts are that I don't know the exact makeup of Nigeria, but just based off of what I know, I feel as though maybe there is a lack of domestic think tanks, and independent domestic think tanks, and I think that that kind of leaves you open to legislation getting passed that doesn't necessarily isn't necessarily like created, or not necessarily to the benefit of people in the country or interest groups within the country at large. So
Mm.
yeah, that's just my thoughts. I appreciate you. You could go ahead, IC3. I don't want to take too much time up.
No, there's very good questions actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very,
very
very
good
considered
questions.
African. You're very different from your kind, flexed up. Most of you guys are not very considerate. But yeah, shout out to Aiko Giamin for the $20 super chat. It says, first rule of innovation, entrepreneurship, and progress. Better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Just make sure you are successful. I generally agree, man. Just start the business and start doing stuff. Uber did it. Uber is one of the most successful companies right now. Didn't get all the licensing for taxis set up. They just started a business and hey, they paid the lawsuits as they came in. What do you guys think of that?
That's an interesting model. Is that how it works? I didn't know how they were
Yes, that's what
successful.
That's how they're successful. They
Wow.
didn't go asking for, hey, they got sued and sued and sued. But guess what? They the governments realized that this is bringing them more business and reliability and growth. So most of them just let the lawsuits go, and they only paid a little bit of money.
Really?
Hmm.
Wow. Because oh, so that appears to me to be the, you know, being able to dominate the moral high ground. If it's generally seen that you're doing whatever you're doing is the community are using it, the community wants it, the power of of the waters of the people overrides everything, doesn't it? Sooner or later, because yeah, just like law itself and courts, you know, if the people feel someone's innocent, or they want to hang someone because they think someone should be, you know, they can override because the people are a lot more. So yeah, that's interesting. If people see that you're providing a new useful service and they're using it, I think you'll win uh, overall. You win in the end. And by that same principle, that's why I keep pushing identity first. So the African Union will prioritize identity. We'll win the narrative. Prioritize identity for effective organization.
Yep. This is true. This is true.
So you're gonna
Uh,
do another stream, or you're still keeping this one?
it says
What's that? Airbnb
Airbnb.
as well. Is that what they
Yeah,
did?
yeah. That's also what they did. A lot of these companies realized that dealing with the system, legal system specifically, afterwards was easier than just because think of it this way, right? There's so many laws on subletting, as an example, right? I remember when I was a university student, they make you usually they make you take long contracts, right, when you're a student. Because why? The the company or the individual, the landlord wants you to cover the rent for the whole year, right? Even
Yeah.
because you're a student, you might really love your house, right? And it works for the people that really love a specific house. You're like, okay, even if I'm not in university for 3 months or 4 months, I'll pay it and I'll just stay at the university. But I was like, nah, I'm not paying for 3 or 4 months and live in a city that I'm not really interested in. So,
Right.
hey, I was subletting my room to someone. Of course, the landlord's like, oh yeah, you can't do that. It's against the contract, blah blah blah. But that's why Airbnb more or less did. They they bypassed all the legal rules on subletting until they were allowed to actually operate all over the place. And the thing is, once their name is accepted, the branding is established, breaking into a new market, aka a new country, is much easier than the first area where they actually did it. And they
Right.
really changed the model for like hotels, because now you have your own room, you've got a little bit of freedom rather than going to a hotel, etc. So it really changed the market. And yeah, as I said, they just went in, started breaking rules.
So that's well, I suppose that goes with entrepreneurship and gambling risk, you know, which
Yeah.
is why I was talking earlier about the concept of insurance and how insurance works. So this is
Hmm.
all related, you know, risk, taking a
Yeah, but you
risk
see,
because you're going.
well, look, I've seen Pan Africans moving to Africa, and then they say some crazy thing like, "Oh, why I took a risk to go to Africa," and I'm like, "Bro, you still have your American passport. You're not taking any risks. You've
Ah,
literally just gone somewhere which you've economically planned for the worst case scenario, buying a ticket back home, right? You're not
yeah.
more. It's not any more risky in this African country. Again, they don't go to war-torn countries. They just go to Tanzania, and someone is like, "Oh, how and why risk my everything to go to Africa?" No, you didn't. That's not risk, right? Anyways, that was just a little tangent, right? But yeah, these companies take risk, right? They go, they try something in the deep end. That's the reason why they're obviously successful. If you don't take
Yeah.
risk,
So high risk, high reward,
yeah,
and they
exactly,
and that's what venture capitalists charge you for. Hey,
yeah,
this shipment's going to cost us if we lose, so you're going to have to cover. You're going to have to cover.
exactly.
And
Yep.
the Somali brother was saying that they have the shopping mall and they rent out all these spaces in the shopping mall. And he is saying that the African way, they just come in without no business plan, and then the business fails, and then they disappear without paying. And you're saying that that's just the African way. But I'm saying, well, basically, that's how the insurance business develops. You know,
Yeah,
you're buying a product, and then they offer insurance. Yeah, because you don't have, you're not offering insurance, you become the insurance,
yeah, exactly.
and then you're just whinging. Well, that's the
Yeah,
African way. But this has been sorted out ages ago. Where you say, look,
yeah,
okay, if you haven't got a business plan, okay, I'll still rent you the place, but you're gonna have to put a higher level deposit. You just have to price it, price everything, and that sits in your area with the business. I'm into power,
yeah.
but
Right. See, yeah,
yeah, but to
power.
you business people and finance, money for you, money makers.
Well, okay. Here's the thing, right? You're into masturbating about power, right? True power requires you to go out there and do real shit. Would you be against that point I made?
True power, but that's the same situation. True power. You're saying business, you have to go out there and do shit. You have to
Yeah,
go in there and set up a business. It may
you
be
have to either be a
Airbnb,
middleman
like
or
Ike was saying. Yeah, yeah. So it's the same
or be a
thing.
middleman,
But
or be a
yeah, so the
middleman, right?
question is,
Yeah.
can a person who is focused on making money work effectively or share the same priorities with someone who's focusing on getting power? What is the relationship between the two focuses?
Oh, okay. Here's the thing, right? Power is a goal. It's not a well. Okay, no. I was gonna say something wrong. Um, I don't think it matters ultimately. I think it just matters if you do it or you don't do it. So here's where we discuss, or what's the most efficient way to go to the shops and buy some food. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as it's not too inefficient and it works. So ultimately, all these like meta analysis of how to build the most efficient systems when we haven't even got a case study of how of one that you can improve on, I think it becomes redundant. So I say go out there, just do stuff, do something, start a business, start making money, start gaining respect. Okay, I'll give you an example. IC3, right? Um, let's use YouTube as an example, right? Okay, what are you gonna do? You're gonna pontificate about the best way, the best algorithms to start your channel, or you're just gonna go there, make a channel, start making videos, and then learn from the interaction of these videos and make different videos until it makes what your goal happen, right? Ultimately, yeah, exactly. The world is chaotic. I see, because the thing is, you're a logical thinker. You're a bit like me, but I'm a little bit less logical. Here's the problem: we already know in mathematics there's a principle called Gödel's incompleteness theorem, meaning, right? You can't you can't logic everything. There's some things which are true, but logic won't reach you to that truth, or it'll contradict another logic, another truth. Yet both of them are still true. Meaning,
Okay,
right? You can't reach the truth by just reasoning out the truth. You have to just go there, do shit, and then you discover the truth that way.
okay. All right. So watch this. So if you have limited resources, okay, then you choose a strategy. You can say, right, we should push those resources into business because that's the best way uh, to achieve the best for Africa. Successful business, and then you start focusing on markets and so on and so on.
Right.
So, and then there's the other option. You've got these limited resources, and you think, right, okay, we should focus on power. Then what? How would you start spending your limited resources if it is power you feel is the fastest way to achieve what you need to achieve? Then you might spend the more money in terms of propaganda, business relationships,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay. But let
going
me give you an
taking
example,
people
right?
out for dinner and stuff like that. Marketing.
Okay,
You see?
so let me give an example, right? And let's use this business. I like to use real models, right? YouTube.
Yeah.
Why do you think I make YouTube videos? Give me an example. There's many reasons, right? Give me some of the ones, yeah, that you think I make YouTube videos.
Okay, so there's two angles. It could be that you're making videos because it's something you like to do,
Okay.
and it's a good money maker, and it's something you like to do, and so it's your priority is the money, and everything else is secondary. It could be, or alternatively, it could be that you have a long-term view, and you're actually researching to develop power, political power, and the money's just a side issue. So it could be that you're trying to gain influence, and be noticed by certain types of people, and then put yourself into certain influential uh, areas. Was it you earlier on that said, or somebody was up against you saying that, oh yeah, somebody's cracking a joke at you, and they said, oh, how could Kaizo be going to be some serious political person running a YouTube channel? And then I countered by saying, watch out, because there was somebody working here as a cleaner in London, and then went back to rule a whole country. Yeah, so
Right.
and that's power. Yeah, so obviously his focus was
Okay.
on power.
Okay. Sure, but okay. So everything you said, those are, for me, I don't do either or. Meaning, everything, all the reasons you mentioned are relevant and true. One of them is no more true than the other, actually, on the grand scheme. So I do everything. The way I pass out my existence is by thinking of every single angle possible, and all angles are true. There is no real reason. There's no primary reason. There's no secondary reason. Now, obviously, if you remove one of these reasons, I'll be less incentivized to do, let's say, this specific YouTube thing, right? If you
Yeah.
remove the money aspect, I won't be doing videos as long as possible. I'd have to do something else, but I'll still be doing videos, for example. If you remove the interest, I'll be doing, again, less hours, but I'll still do it for the money. Right, so there's an intermix of all the different. I guess you only mentioned two things, but all those things are obviously in the reasons of why I do things. Other reasons are propaganda. I love to project my own propaganda and have an audience to listen to the propaganda. Right,
Okay, so
that's
watch this.
part of it. Yeah.
All right. Look, no. See, it's very subtle, but there's a lot of. It's very serious. You see, earlier on in the discussion, we were talking about national and international, and then globalism. Now, most people, they were saying globalism and national internationalism are interchangeable. So if you have that mindset, that can impair the ability to fix the situation. You just end up staying in a circle.
Okay.
So in order to
Okay. So let me ask you a question, Ike. How do you? No, Ike. IC3. How do you think I met Ike, who I do business with? It's through YouTube. How do you think I'm now planning on building? I've mentioned this before, building a multimedia network. I've actually acted on it, right? I've linked up with One Man One to Mo, and linked up with his channel, for example, and that's how now I'm able to gauge more panelists from different angles, and ultimately I'm building a network of a multimedia network, which I one day want to build a system greater than BBC, right? And it's not even about this specific channel. When you're building any system or platform, you learn the building of the business itself. Then you just replicate that model, because now you've identified what it takes to build it, how to build networks. The point is, right, when you're dealing with power, business is a good method, because many respectable people trust people who can at least make money or connections. If you can make one of those two, people trust you. But if you just come there looking for power without building that framework, whether again business or being a middleman, you don't have as much people that can vouch for you. You need people who are in certain positions who can vouch for your skill, talent, or representation.
That's right.
So,
You would demonstrate.
so ultimately, right, power, money, business, they're all interlinked. It's just business is a good model for, let's say, discerning whether someone is on the right path or on the wrong path. Ultimately,
Yes, it's true. Okay, but so you chose media, but I heard that you have a PhD in it's not media. Is that right?
materials physics, correct?
Right. Okay.
No,
So
but I didn't
you,
choose media. That's the thing, right? I'm also doing other stuff, computer programming, engineering. This I do everything, right? It just looks like this is all I do.
okay, okay. But so are you utilizing your education? Because I imagine that if you're a
Yes,
doctorate,
but I think
then I'd
you
expect you to
need.
be working for some large corporation on some technical project. Isn't
No, I
that the
want to
pathway?
mainly. No, no, of course not. I
Or
only got a
developing?
PhD. To
Huh?
be honest, if I'm honest, right, I only got a PhD because A, I didn't want to get a real job. That's one. Yeah. Two,
Okay.
two. I didn't. I wanted to project propaganda, right? If I had a PhD, call myself a doctor, I could say all the stupidest shit, and people still can't call me about it. So it was all. I promise you to God, right? I did all of that because I wanted to have a bit of armor, plot armor, basically, against
Right,
stupidity. People calling me stupid. So it was all, yeah. It was just there just to for allow me to be a clown with an armor on.
right. Yes, there's a bit of yin yang, bit of hard and soft, a bit of seriousness, and yeah. So which is expressed in the way that you run this channel. Is very good that you're very good at you're very tolerant. Whilst I'm just you're tolerant. Whilst I don't think I could do something like this, because
You're
I'll
allergic
just
to breast.
huh? I'm
You're
allergic.
allergic to
That's
breast.
right. Yeah, yes, yeah. So it's the same question between um the junta, so like Niger, do, do, do you need to have a coup in order to get the changes needed for the society, or should they just have followed the democratic process and be more patient?
Right, right. Okay, here's the thing. I don't really think this will amount to anything useful anytime soon. Meaning, I don't think there will be a significant difference in the economy, well-being, freedom, and autonomy of Niger that compared to its African countries. I don't think this will lead to any revolutionary outcomes at
Changes.
all. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't believe so. There's no
Yeah.
evidence for it at all.
And why?
And
And why is that?
there are many issues why, right? First of all, people, I'm talking about everyone I've ever heard on all these platforms, don't even know how post-colonialism functions, right? They're uneducated in it. They don't know what's really going on, right? They just say, oh, France does this, right? Oh, France just controls the banks. Okay, fine. Oh, France made them sign bad deals. Okay, fine. What's the point?
Yeah.
Right? The main issue is Nigeria hasn't industrialized, so they've got no leverage against these companies. They had to sign those deals with the French company Orana because they can't actually mine the product and then sell it. See, you
Yes.
see, that's part of the problem. Then the economy has diversified. It's simply a resource-reliant economy on on a production mechanism that they don't control, aka mining. So, point is, there's so many problems that a country like Nigeria is suffering from that it's not as simple as France is bad. No, they're dealing from the lack of industrialization at its core. So the fact that people don't understand this means that they won't be focusing on resolving the issue at its root.
The
They're going to
core
be
root
doing
at the root.
it
Yes.
exactly. At the end of the day,
So
it's all about leverage, power, and understanding of the value chain of the resource that you're dealing with. In this case, uranium, oil resources, and Niger just doesn't have anything to show
yeah,
potential for change.
100%. Yeah, your analysis of the situation is correct. So if you had the ear of the leaders of Nigeria, how would even before the
They
crisis?
wouldn't listen to me
What?
because they don't. Okay, here's the other issue, right? I know you're going to come for me for this, but most people from a certain group of people don't have the ability to think across time. So
Oh
even
yeah,
if I told
that's
them
true.
all of that, to them they wouldn't be seeing the relevance of my points, right? To them, they're stuck in a temporal jail. So if that's the case, no matter what I say, no matter how well I say it, they just won't see what I'm saying. So ultimately, try to explain to a person who's colorblind the difference between colors, right? I'm talking about full black and white colorblind. It was difficult. They might imagine ideas in their head, but then they won't see the implication of why the colors matter. There's just something like a flavor, a taste that they'll be missing. That ultimately, it's not going to make any sense. So yes, I don't believe Niger will amount to anything successful. In terms of Burkina Faso, they also had a military coup a couple of years ago, and the first leader, there was actually an increase of Islamic terrorism, like by 165% according to some reports. So then he was outcooled by the current young leader called Traore, who seems to be doing okay. But again, he might be doing okay because, you know, things are okay right now. Who knows what the future leads? So ultimately, no, none of these things. Now, to answer your other question, do I think that we need like some kind of military junta in order to succeed? Not necessarily, but if I was a leader of a nation, I promise you, within 30 years, that nation would be one of the richest nations in the world. That's a fact.
I like that. I like your attitude. I like your attitude. Okay,
100%.
and okay, so watch this then. This is why I keep banging on about the hostage situation. Hostages, that have limitations. You just have to accept their limitations. And a hostage rescue team. They're a group of professionals, very skilled, very focused, very codified, uh, and they are communicating with the terrorists to bring about to resolve the situation. They're not the hostage rescue team is not going to complain about the hostages or complain about the hostages lack of ability to free themselves, because it's a waste of energy. And plus the hostages have limited vision, like they're the colorblind that you're talking about, so they can't see, they can't understand because of their situation. So what, rather than waste time about their limitations, you've got to deal with the hostage takers, and they've got very clear vision. Their vision is going to be as good, as sharp as yours. So just like Neely Fuller says, he says sooner or later you're going to have to deal with the white supremacists head to head. All this black on black crime, face the power. How are you going to deal with the power? Then if that's your focus, then that means all your conversations will be different, all your planning will be different, and all your language will be different.
Okay, so let me add here, right? Everyone doesn't need to be focusing on the same solution at the same time, especially when, let's say, okay, let's okay, what's the end goal? Let's create some imaginary end goal. We want African countries to have some sense of autonomy, economic thriving, whatever that means, right? Whether it's within the system, outside, it doesn't matter. People to feel good that they can get things that they like, okay,
Yeah.
and relatively free from foreign intervention, influence, etc. Okay, great. That's a great goal. To get that right, think of it like a car. You can't just say the body part is the most important part. Well, it is, but without the engine, it's not going to do anything, right? You can't just say the engine is the most important part. Without a body
No,
and a
but you're going
safety
into an animate. No,
system.
you can't talking about a car.
Oh,
Stick with people, because the
okay,
car's
well,
inanimate, right? The car,
sure,
so
sure, but
choose a model that has people in it.
okay, well, let's talk about a nation state. A nation state can't succeed without a high enough number of people to work and produce things, right? So,
Yeah.
for example, small countries will never be free because they just don't have enough productive power, meaning they can't focus on everything. They can't be self sufficient in food production, engineering, math, science, factories, because there's just not enough people to make the level of investments, billions of dollars, make it make sense because there not won't even be enough people to work in the country. So, do you agree with that? A country to be free in the way that we've defined it, it has to have a significant enough of a population base. Do you agree with that proposition? Gambia will never be
I
sovereign
I think, yeah,
nation
I think that you're
because it
completely
can't.
off.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're the whole way you're thinking is off.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Yeah,
This is why I think the
let me ask
conversation
you a
is
question.
interesting. Your whole frame of mind, your whole position is off key. You're thinking about production and this and that, and you got to be able to produce and stuff. W- uh, That's why I keep talking about the hostage situation. That's above that. You know, once you've saved the people, dealt with the hostage situation, then it goes back to business as usual. Then people can start doing business. Once you have a hostage situation, right? Business, there's no business taking place as normal. There could be business taking place, but it's skewed. It's the same thing what I mentioned earlier about state capture. State capture is the same thing as a hostage situation. It doesn't fit all those models that you're talking about. You're talking about a happy-go-lucky, things are all happy and nice. No, we're talking about a hostage situation. We're talking about state capture. State capture is when the people are saying, what is going on here? Why are our leaders making these decisions that are impacting us in a bad way? What is it? Are they stupid or what? They're not listening to us. Why aren't they not listening to us? Then certain members of the society will say, wait a minute. The reason they're not listening is because they're following instructions from outside parties. Can you see the difference?
I can see it, right? But I can see it, but here's the thing, right? Uh, the one thing I think you're not considering is that you really do need to be working on different angles for something to succeed. There's no way I'll be doing 12, 15-hour live streams if all of those areas that I mentioned were fulfilled. And that's the same thing with being sovereign. Sovereignty, okay, sure, you could say the brain is, you could characterize one area as being more consequential than another, and I agree with you there. That might be the case. I don't know, but it might be. But at the same time, you have to still feed the other aspects of sovereignty exploration. Otherwise, you have a malnourished body. So ultimately, they all matter, just maybe in differing views. And here's the thing: we don't even know which one is the most important. That's why I focus more on doing everything rather than just doing one thing that I am going to reason out to be more significant. Because what you're not counting for is chaos. Chaos can provide itself solutions to problems by um, by us leveraging that situation. If the dollar collapsed, if the West fought itself out of extinction, for example, that's chaotic. That's a chaos ingrained circumstance that we can leverage. So if you don't, let's say, build all the other aspects that I've mentioned, you can't even ride the chaos waves because
Right,
your
right.
solution is focused towards one path. So from mine is divergent, yours is convergent, and I believe obviously my personality type leads me to more of a divergent. Oh my goodness, why am I sounding like some crazy uh, high IQ white man right now? Notice yeah, I'm flowing a little bit too well, right? In
I
English.
see three. I see
Hey,
three.
dude. Yeah, hey, dude.
Hey, so I like your hostage example, and I have thought a bit from that standpoint. But in your example, right, the hostage would be the leaders, right,
Yes.
or the leadership class, whatever it is, right.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
So if the leadership are hostages, um, don't hostages at least try to signal that they're a hostage?
Well, it depends. It depends on the skill of the terrorists, because what will happen? It will become evident that there's a hostage situation because things will not be running as normal, or they will not be running as they should be. So, just like the ordinary people, so the people in Africa, wait a minute, they're thinking, what is going on here? Why don't we have electricity? Yet we're selling uranium for electricity in France. But let's slow down a minute. There's something wrong here. What it is, we don't know. So our first impression is that the leadership, they must be doing something stupid, because they're not aware of any external entities. All they're seeing is the leadership is acting in an illogical manner, and they don't understand why. So they then start asking questions, and investigations start happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that example, um, the metaphor. So the metaphor, right? The hostage example.
Yeah.
So that means that we would be in a hostage situation that spans generations. So, like Kaiser likes to say, it'd be a trans-temporal hostage crisis, which
Yes, that's
means that
right.
there would be a handoff. I'm trying to follow the metaphor as deeply as I can, right?
That's right. Let's
So,
push
so
the
I'm just trying
metaphor
to see
until we
how we
find a
can
crack in
break
it.
the example. Like, is there a
Right.
point to where we can break the example, right?
Let's test it.
So, yeah. So, not only are the hostages going to be traded out, in terms of like individual bodies. Maybe there's like a greater organizational structure, but they'll have to be swapped. So the hostages, I guess, are going to be swapped out as they get older or as they become fatigued. Maybe that's a way that we can represent it, spanning generations. And
Yeah.
then
So the
also
terrorists. Yeah. Go
the
on.
so the hostage takers would need to kind of be switched out as well as the hostages. Wouldn't that be the case? Because like, wouldn't they have to take uh new hostages, or you know uh I guess get rid of a hostage and then kind of pick up another hostage in order to keep leverage?
Yes. Yes. And
So,
we
so is
see
there a
that. We
trade?
see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
go
let's
ahead.
explore this then. We see that in that they have uh, there's a cost. Yeah. So it's almost like a business. Yeah. So state capture um, eh, is the highest form of hostage. We would see the movie where there's it's a bank, right? But when you capture a state, right, that means the state is still functioning, and then you're living off the wealth of that state that it's generating. So you're living, you've captured. So it becomes more like gangsters. You've seen the old gangster movies where the gangsters are getting a slice
So it'd be a
from the
crime
business.
ring.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So they have to pay. That's it. Pay protection money,
A
right?
crime ring takes over a community, maybe takes over like your block or takes over your section of the city.
Yes, that's it. That's the
Okay.
situation. Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead from that point. I just want to kind of
yeah,
hear
yeah.
this.
So we're moving up from the bank robbery to the robbery of a state or a community. Yeah. So that community might not be probably won't be aware that the leaders and the responsible people within that community, those that are trusted with responsibility, are being bullied and caused to make, because so the community will blame their leaders, not realizing that their leaders have been hijacked, or what's the word?
Yeah, but I see three. Like, here's a question, right? You live in the comfort of the Queen's bosom in the UK. The rest of us are in Africa, living in Kibera, living in bad conditions. Why don't you want us to clean up the prison? Why do you want us to live in bad prison conditions?
Okay, okay, right. So the way your angle fits perfectly with your view of the situation. So let's say let's take it up to the highest level now. State capture. So obviously the people living in that state, in the town, they can still do shopping, clean the streets and so on, um, and then keep life going, still go to school and stuff like that, still work at the factory, yeah, and produce things like you talk about, yes, run businesses, yeah, and then pay their taxes, right? But because there's state capture, those people within that society are paying maybe 3 times as much tax as they should be paying,
Okay.
and working far more hours than they should be, than is necessary.
Okay.
Why? Right, right. So if we follow that through, so some of the people like yourself would say, well, having a government is better than having no government. At least we're better than the other city. Yeah,
It's
we're
true,
having to
of course.
let's just focus and get on with it. We know we're paying too much tax, but let's just try and make life as good as we can. Whilst there's
Yeah.
others,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So that's your mindset. I understand. Let's make the best of a bad situation.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. That is no, no, no. Hang on. That's not true. That's a non-representation of my idea. As I mentioned earlier
Okay.
about why I use myself as why do I do YouTube videos, and you try to give a hierarchical distinction between varying reasons, right? And I said they're all true. None of the reasons are more true than the other, but they all obviously intermix. If you remove one reason, it changes the symmetry of whatever where everything stands, right? My point is not that do that anyways. My point is that is one of the solutions, one of the components of the solution. I say do everything. My point of view is do everything and then maximize on something called chaos. When the chaos wave comes in, the Western economies collapse for whatever reasons. Their population reduces because their women are not having kids, etc. When those things happen, I want to be ready to leverage and ride that chaos wave, right? So I'm
Right.
saying
I've got
focus
that.
on
Good
everything.
point. Go on then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no,
Okay. So
my,
so
my my
so you're
solution is
it's
do
like waiting
everything.
for Jesus to come. That's what the Christians do. Yeah. That's yeah. That's
No,
that's
no,
that.
no, 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 no,
That's how
no.
you sound to me.
No, no,
wait,
no, no.
wait until till the white people fail and make a mistake, and then we'll
No,
set
no,
ourselves up,
no.
and then we'll be able to maximize on the
That's
opportunity.
just an example of them making a mistake,
Kaizo,
right? Yeah, go ahead.
are you viewing it like messing up the handoff? Because right now we're at a critical point where, for example, we look at, like, people talk about baby boomers, right?
Okay.
Baby boomers as a generation, let's just use, the generational construct. Baby boomers as a generation in the West have been running stuff for at least the past 40 years. Would you agree?
Wait, can you repeat the last part? Over the last 40 years, I didn't get that part. I
Would
didn't
you
get.
say that the baby boomer generation
Okay.
would can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Would you say that the baby boomer generation has been running things in the Western world for maybe at least the last 40 years?
Sure.
Yeah, so, like, all that wealth is supposed to be transferred over the next, like, I think 20 to 30 years, right?
Okay. Okay.
So all of that value that has kind of been, um, taken from, our nations, probably, for example, are going to be handed off to successors, or are in the process of being handed down to successors over the next few years. And
Sure.
Kaizo, I'm assuming that this chaos, the chaos that could potentially ensue during times of succession, which just across the arc of history has just been a constant theme is what Kaiser would be referring to. Would I be correct? I just want
That's
to
one
add
of the
like some context to it.
that's an example of the chaos, right? That's an example of it. Yeah, it's one example. I'm open to any form of chaos. That's a simple example of one. Or the fact that there's a change in the outlook, right? The West is going through postmodernism, and when they're doing the change of the predecessor, or rather the current generation might not know what to do with the previous system that's been handed onto them, etc. Right? It's all of that. Yes, that's an example of the chaos I'm talking about. So I'm just saying, IC3, look, when you clean your prison cell, make sure that you're healthy. Far less people die of diseases. That's one, right? When you when you're out there dealing and improving your economy, you improve the happiness of people, you increase creativity. So when now the Messiah, aka IC3, comes back with a solution, gets all the reparations, the Africans will know what to do with that money because now they can actually industrialize, right? Because they already have experience of building an industrial nation. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying when you have done your part, IC3, I will be ready because I would have prepared my people to be receptive to your solution.
Right. So you reckon that whilst the terrorists are controlling society, that the people can be educated to build their industrial nation, and that at the point of chaos they'll be all ready. That is the same argument I've heard over the years, like, oh, all we need is education, 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 educate the children, educate. No, no, because that is not the solution, because they're managing the education system. So education is not the solution, is it? That just enables you to survive within the captured state. It doesn't allow you to free the state from
Yeah, but
capture.
there is no freeing the state from capture. That's the part you're not getting, right? There is no freedom.
Okay.
That will never happen, and I think it's good to just accept that. All we can do is hope for good prisoner rights. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not like I'm being serious. There is no what you're talking about is a pipe dream. It's not a solution, right? And
Okay.
also it's a solution to a problem that people don't even know that they have. Right? Go ask a random African tribe and tell them all these problems that you're talking about, how they control your economy, they do this and they do that. They don't care about that. All they know is that there's a dusty tribe right next to them that's fighting them for water access. So
Okay.
your solution isn't even a solution to the people that you're claiming you're resolving their issues.
Okay. So this argument is still fundamentally that nationalism versus globalism. And as you said earlier on, you declared yourself a globalist versus me as a nationalist. And then we started to dig into the issues, you started saying that we realized that you're not really a globalist. You don't really believe in globalism. So
Okay, I
you're
don't. Okay, the
confused.
thing is,
You're
right? I don't
confused in
believe.
your position, which
Okay,
is means
yeah.
when you say jack of all trades, and then you become not master of none, which means you will not be able to exploit the opportunity when it comes because of for lack of speciality.
I see three. See, I don't need to be a master of everything. I just need to know everything so that I can choose those who are masters to work as my pawns. I worked as a technician, right? I've worked as a technician before, right? I was a technical elite in the profession that I was working at one point, but I realized something. That was the least paid job, it was the least interesting job, and the least valued job. Not valuable. It's very valuable, but it's the least valued, right? So meaning, it's a very simple realization, but I don't have to be it. I don't have to be the technical elite in everything. I just have to be a technocrat, right? Understand how the system works, and be able to have enough understanding that I can choose uh, who or what to propel forward. So yeah, I can be a jack of all trades, master of none, but a decider of fate. That's where I'm trying to go.
Okay, okay. So then you're moving in the level of statecraft. Yeah,
Mhm. Okay.
statecraft. Um, right now,
Right.
what are the skills of the statecraft and the diplomat? Because yeah, they can shape the destinies of many people. Yeah,
Mhm.
industry like you're talking about, production, all these things. You're moving into the realm of skills and negotiations and deals and statecraft. Okay, so you use statecraft to benefit the state,
Right.
and that state has to be clearly defined. Who exactly are the members of the state that you're looking after? Do uh, i- uh, who are the members of the state that you're practicing your statecraft? Is it the Kenyan people? Because you identify yourself as a Kenyan, correct?
Oh, well, no, 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 no. Legally, I am multiple nationalities, including Kenyan. I don't identify as a Kenyan. That was more of a philosophical point of view. I don't have an identity. I'm just
Ah, you see, now you're talking like the globalists, like globalism.
right,
You
right.
see?
No, okay. I don't even believe in globalism, but I would say I align with them more so than I align with other systems
Of
or
course.
ideologies.
That's the whole point of the conversation. That's why I keep digging at people. I start saying, "What is your identity? Well, what is your position? What is your position?
Right, but
What are you
I see
about?"
three. Hang on, Ike,
Huh?
you should call in, right? Globalists like me and Ike are the only people on these platforms working in Africa, employing Africans, and then building Africa. The rest of you niggas are out there sipping the Queen's tea, drink us. Hello, it is rather. I see three. I haven't seen you for the last 5 years. How are you, son? Oh, jolly ho. I'm over here trying to teach people about solutions, but they don't want solutions.
Okay, so
Right.
okay, so you with your globalist outlook, you and Ike with your
Yes,
globalist outlook,
that's why we're
you're
building
saying you're
Africa.
building Africa.
Exactly.
So what? So
Literally
what is
building
this
Africa.
Africa? That
Okay.
comes back to identity. If you're building
Okay.
something, what is it that you're
But,
building?
but,
Do you know what it is
okay.
you're building?
It- we're building the people, right? We're adding value to the people by having value added human resources, which Africa lacks. We also, well, it's in Ike's case, in this case, he's building um, actual industries, right, in Ghana, right? And guess what? Where we are, we're in Ghana, Ethiopia, Kenya, and soon Nigeria. That's the
Mhm.
globalist agenda. This you guys' agenda is going just doing nothing. I don't even know what you guys want,
Yeah.
right? But you see, what fuels us isn't the love for Africa only, right? It's a well, love for Africa is one of the most important reasons, right? But it is
Really?
also
It doesn't sound like they
absolutely,
love Africa for me. It sounds like you know you,
of
you love
course, it's
the
a reason.
business.
What word thinking
Globalists
troubles.
can't love Africa. Globalists
No, no, no.
love business.
I said we align. If there was anything, that would be one where we at least align through the practice of, right? I didn't say like clearly. We're not going to put you in a word definition. I wouldn't put myself in a word definition and all that stuff. Right? I'm just saying globalism, right? Or rather, I forgot the other word, like not technocrat. No, there's another word I'm thinking of, like where you're not metropolitan or some cosmopolitan, right? Elite. I believe in all that shit, right? More so than I believe in this other stuff.
What's the other stuff?
Your stuff.
So you're an aspiring globalist. You and Ike are aspiring globalists. You're not quite there
Well,
yet
I said don't
because
put
you
him in.
still want to keep the borders. You still believe in borders, so you're not quite there yet. You're wannabe. You're a wannabe globalist.
I see three. You know when people say stupid. I remember, like, I think I mentioned this to Ike once, right? I was like, when are you moving to Africa? And he came from me. He was like, what you mean move to Africa, right? I'll go wherever I want, whenever I want, right?
Yeah.
And of course, when I asked him to move to Africa, I didn't mean it the way, I'm not gonna call them idiots, right? But the rest of you guys say, of like some idea, oh, one day I'm gonna earn enough money, then I'm gonna go and set up shop in Nairobi, and that's gonna be my new home. No, no, no. When I said when are you gonna move to Africa, I simply mean when are you going to have enough going on in an African country that you've conquered that area. But everybody else believes in this whole settling down in one area. No, I don't believe that. I believe
Right.
in doing whatever you want, whenever you want, until
Wherever you want.
wherever you want. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
Right. So yeah, go
go
ahead.
on. Yeah.
No,
So
no,
doing what you want, wherever you want, whenever you want, um, is the globalist dream.
okay. Then I
Okay.
guess I
That's
align more with that dream. Yeah,
pardon. Yeah. Of
I
course.
align more with that dream. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we have good conversations back and forth, back and forth. We're playing tennis. Yeah. Because that's why
Oh,
I
you
dig
seem
into
to
trying
be
to.
playing the white man's game. Why is it tennis? Why is it not like some African wrestling? You see what I mean? IC3. You've been taken over by him so much. And right now you're emulating his games and his sports.
Yeah. So we both are, aren't we? So because that globalism, uh, it's still it has two aspects. One, I still say whiteness comes into it, but I know I have I do speak to other globalists, argue with other globalists and other anti-globalists, and they say, oh, there's no such thing as white supremacy, and they're saying it died when they basically killed Hitler. It's been on its way down since 1945. So you can't prove that there's white supremacy because it's not in documentation. So it's just a conspiracy theory, and that's what they have. That's what they have against me. That's what they say. Yeah, you can't name any white supremacists. Therefore, you're talking nonsense, and white supremacy doesn't exist. Because if it does, you'd be able to name white supremacist organizations, and you'll be able to name actual white supremacists. Um, yeah. So they say globalism is there's no white supremacy because it's a global. It's uh, there's no bias, and it's the same angle as where people say, "Oh, it's the market. The market is just the market. There's no bias in it, in the market. Therefore, globalism has the ultimate moral high ground because it's not racist. It has no bias. All it means is that you've got to try. The more efficient you are with globalism, the better it is for the whole of humanity. So that's how they dominate the high ground, because they can say um, democracy will be best served uh, under a globalist viewpoint with no biases, and you can only have biases if you have borders. So I understand where you're going, and you're aspiring towards globalism, and you're slowly letting go of those borders, and so you can go wherever you want, do whatever you want, and so on. So you're aspiring to that elite. But yes, you must continue since you want to go that way. We'll see. So I will be challenging you all the way. We'll see. I'm going to uh, check the globalists with internationalism, with true internationalism. We'll regulate. That's it. Regulate globalism.
Yeah. So DG, the Nigerians have gone to sleep, or you do realize we've been live for over 15 hours. But anyways, IC3, I see your point of view, and shout out to you, man. Earlier, I was out here rapping and rhyming like I was some cultural perfection imbued with perfect grace to be able to jibber jabber over some linguistic excellence, right? Shout out to me, man. Finally, the white man's genes are awakening in me. So, right. When I see three black, look, you guys want freedom. Why do you want freedom? Right? People don't want freedom. People want to have a comfortable hen experience. If you ask the average African, do you want to be sovereign or do you want to have a good life? Do you know what they'll tell you? They want to have a good life. Nobody wants to be sovereign. Nobody wants to be like North Korea,
Listen
whereby
how you're talking. Listen how you're talking. Nobody wants to. How can you speak for everybody? You're saying things like nobody,
oh,
nobody. What do you mean?
okay, so I see three. Good
You
point. Do
see,
you
that's
believe in
part that
democracy?
you talk like that because of your ideology.
So
That's what it takes you. You can't help it. It's part.
sure,
It's
but what ways are okay? Here's the thing, right? Actually, three. What I guess I was trying to really say is there are less people who want sovereignty over people that want a good life. I say people in my camp are more than people in your camp. Do you disagree with that? I can even ask them right now on the chat, and they'll say, the Africans will say they'll rather have a comfortable life over sovereignty. So,
uh,
what do you say about that?
okay. Well, it all goes back to the principle of scalability. Yeah. Once your principles are correct, then it's scalable. So, in the same way, um, as an individual,
Well, Caesar, come up, brother. Let me cook you. Caesar, I know you're dusty Igbo. Come on, let me cook you, right? You keep saying not everyone. Everybody wants a good life. We all do. That's why, Caesar, you're in America, not Nigeria, right? That's the easiest proof of all of this, right? You don't want to be in Africa because you don't want to live hardcore life in Africa. You rather live an easy life in America where the dollar is stronger than the naira. That's why. So stop the
no, he
cap.
doesn't want to be in America. He's
Oh,
in
okay.
there.
See, no, he
He's
doesn't
only
see that.
there because of
No,
the dollar.
no,
If he
see,
could earn
no.
that money
I
in
see.
Africa, he'd be in Africa.
I see. Look
With
at that. That's a lie. You see, he says, "I like the white man's rules." You see.
okay.
Yeah, it's exactly. Abby says Kaiser knows more about Africa than you. IC3. So IC3, the people you want to free don't want to be free. We just want a good life. In fact, African. Are you there? Can I ask you? Do you want to come answer one question? Simple question. Yes or no? Do you want to have a good life, or do you want Kenya to be a free country?
Kenya.
No, stop lying. Do you want a good easy life, or Kenya to be free? Come on.
Kenya.
You don't believe the Africans, right? They will lie to you in your face. Right? The truth is, the African wants good life. Okay, don't
But
listen
you
to that
see,
attitude,
you
right?
end up, your ideology is fundamentally flawed. That's why you come out making statements that don't stand. You start making things. It's just naturally flows. That's why I deal with people's fundamentals. You start saying things like nobody's doing this, nobody, as if everybody. You can't help it. That's what people do when they embrace globalism. They start talking like that, and then once they get into positions of power,
Yeah.
then they start bullying people and say, "Well, how come you're not doing what everybody's doing? Everybody's doing it," and then they start beating up people and abusing people for expressing themselves in an alternative way, and then that's what kills the economy eventually. That's what kills business. That's what kills creativity.
Right. Okay, so shout out Caesar, man. Go ahead, my Igbo. By the way, when you said that's a couple times you sent some super chat saying Igbo Quenu. I thought you were speaking clearly, meaning you're Igbo, meaning I'm your Igbo. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't even know where to start. Where should I start? This idea that we should all be in Africa trying to do some building or whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
that is.
some of us have.
Who's saying that? Not me.
Yeah,
Is that what Kaiser's saying?
yeah, I'm saying all of you niggas need to go back to Africa to build Africa. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Look,
I'm not
guys,
saying that.
everything's small, you know. Hey, we all want to be in Africa, right? But guess what? We got to make money.
Look at this African chat, right? Shout out to Abby. He says, "I'd rather be South Korea or Japan while being a USA cuck rather than of course." I don't. Tonight is always bringing up literacy rates, bro. Nobody cares about reading a tissue paper. We know what a tissue paper is. What matters is education rate, productivity. What can I? Shout out to you, Abby, for saying the truth. Exactly. I'd rather be South Korea or Japan being a USA cuck rather than being free like North Korea.
I'm
Go
not a
ahead.
USA cuck. Well, as a black person, I'd much rather be in the USA than South Korea. Are you kidding me? What? You can't even compare the two.
North Korea. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. A lot of us are in the West because we're getting skills. You know, what I'm studying, I can't study that in Africa. You know,
What do you study, Caesar?
unlike you got your PhD and then you fled back to
Exactly.
Kenya, right?
Exactly.
Well, guess
Fled back.
what? Some of us don't have our PhD yet, buddy, and we don't have money. You know,
You see,
easier said than done.
I
It's
scammed
easy to make money
when
in
you
the West,
Go ahead.
huh?
I scammed
Yes.
when you both giving me free education. Then I came back.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm trying to do, man. Look, you can't learn this stuff in Nigeria. If I was in Nigeria, I'm busy fighting all this tribalism bullshit. No, I'm learning about artificial intelligence. I'm moving on with my life, right?
They're closing every 3 months because the teachers are on strike. Yeah, we know how Africa runs.
Exactly, right? You know, it's dusty. However, you're right. Eventually, you know, I'll be in Africa. I'll be fighting. I might not be in Nigeria though. God, I hope I'm not in Nigeria. See, you guys are in Ghana. I actually like that. Why do I have to fight in Nigeria with all these dusty idiots when I could, you know, go
That's
to
what you
Nairobi or
become a
something?
globalist, right?
Caesar, hold up, Caesar, what are you studying?
Where am I studying? I study at a university.
Caesar, this man is studying IT and acting like they don't teach IT in Africa, bro. This guy's full of shit. You went to America for the good life, bro. Stop the cap. These niggas are full of shit, bro. I swear.
I'm
Look,
not
it's
full
better
of
to
shit.
be.
What do you mean?
No one gives a fuck about sovereignty over the good life, bro. Just be honest. You man are not honest, bro.
No, that's not true. Look, my people lost.
Oh my
We lost the war. We lost the war trying to be sovereign. So now we're not going to just declare war again and lose like suckers. We're going to regain our strength. We're going to gather resources and then go for round two. But
Bro, what is your IT degree going to do in regaining sovereignty?
don't insult me. I graduated summa cum laude with a degree in computer science, not IT, buddy.
Say,
But it's
okay,
all useful
computer science.
anyway.
What is it going to do? What is it going to do in the war for Biafra? Stop the cap. This nigga, Jason, why is this guy lying? He's never coming back for Biafra 2.0, bro. Why is he?
That's
Bro,
not.
these guys
That's not
always
true.
build.
That's not true. We will come back.
Shut
But
up,
look,
Caesar, bro. You will be dead on arrival, bro. Stop the cap.
You graduated from Kuna Sum Laude. Wow.
look, you can't just. By the time you declare war, you should have already won. So look, we lost the first time. I admit it. We lost.
Caesar, bro, you're never winning. Stop. You're not there to progress Biafra freedom rights, bro. Stop the cap. Caesar, this man, bro.
Everything's small. But yeah, I didn't give up on Africa. Why the fuck would I give up on my people, right? It makes no sense. But I'm not just gonna foolishly go into Africa with no resources, no money, not a lot of knowledge, and just start struggling. That makes who's that gonna help?
Okay, so apparently they don't teach computer science anywhere in Africa, bro. It's only.
I mean, they do teach computer science though, but not the level definitely.
Bro,
And
Kazel, you hear all these excuses, bro. America is the good life, bro. You just say you prefer the amenities in America, bro. Why do these guys come up with like 20 million? Bro, there's a reason I'm an essay. Essay is better than Ethiopia. That's it. Simple, bro.
Let me add to this, right, Caesar, to be honest, right? For my first degree, my second degree, and my PhD, right? You do realize I'm self-taught in everything. Right? The only thing the university gave me is access to resources. That's it, right? I didn't learn anything
And
special.
accreditation.
I went and read books in libraries, well, not libraries, but online and Wikipedia. I literally learned everything on online Google Scholar and sometimes Wikipedia, at least for the first degree.
And the funny thing is, look, Caesar, let's be honest, man. We would all prefer to be Japan. Just nuke us twice and give us the wealth that Japan has instead of being North Korea, fam.
Exactly. That's what. Bro, stop lying about freedom and sovereignty. Well, nobody cares about
What
that.
gives a fuck about that bullshit, bro? Keizo, if you told me Ethiopia's GDP per capita could be 50,000 and I have to see, and our country has to have 10 American military bases, bro, I will ask Biden to come and bring those 10 military bases back. Myself, bro. Not only that, I will clear the land for him, bro. Fuck this sovereignty bullshit.
Even if they had to give us military bases and rename Kenya to Djibouti, I'll take that deal. I'll get fucked in the ass
The
any
man
day.
are full of shit, bro. Sovereignty, you can sovereignty these nuts, man.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, no, Caesar, stop lying, bro. You know the truth. Right now, if you know what, Caesar, come to Kenya today, and I'll believe you. Go on, brother. I'll even pay for half of your plane ticket, right? I'll guarantee you I'll pay $500 towards your plane ticket if you come Kenya tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I work
Okay,
for the
next
white
week,
man,
next
so
week, I'll pay half of it, $500. Everyone
you know,
is here. I'm not gonna lie. I'll,
you
I'll
know, I
pay
work
half.
for the white man, right? I can't just leave.
Oh, you see, you can't escape the plantation. I can't escape the plantation because the white man gonna get me.
Look,
Oh no.
hey Kaizo, look, everything's small. You got your PhD, right? Okay,
Okay.
so now you're flexing on those who don't have one.
Okay.
Oh, blah, blah,
No, but Abby's doing
But
one
he's
in
not
Africa.
using his. Wait, Kezo, let's be honest. He doesn't need his PhD to be doing what he's doing now, does he?
Not true. Exactly. I left the UK to come to Africa to run a YouTube channel and make $300 a month. So Caesar, why don't you do the same? I
I'm
went from
working on.
I went from
Actually,
earning
I'm working on it
I don't
though.
know 50,000 a year to earning 2,500 a year.
Kezo, you know what kills me about Caesar, bro? It's this fake revolutionary persona that he has. This man said, "I'm working to." He said he's rebuilding for Biafra, bro.
Well,
Yeah, 24/7 Kaisora network. Teaching physics to YouTube. Yeah, you know why? Because you see, here's the thing. I'm a revolutionist. I believe in the African whatever it is you guys believe in, right? But I'm an actor. I actually risked my life, right, to come here and become a YouTuber for $300 a month, right? Barely paying rent, barely paying food, Caesar, just so that I can push propaganda about Pan Africanism. You see what I mean? Caesar?
that's true. Well, look here. Everyone's leveraging their advantages, right? Like you have a business partner. See, Kaiser, let me check you right now. You have a business partner that also allows you. He does some business stuff in America. You get to focus
A
on
sugar daddy,
Kenya. Where's my business partner that So it requires.
Oh, okay, okay.
bro. Is it me or is it, bro? This guy's network is crazy, fam.
By the way, I did tell these retards that I'm
He
actually
has
a
the
white.
he has the hood network, Kezo.
Yeah, my network is crazy. I'm driving. That's why.
Remember when I did that stream when I told these retards that I'm collecting data and I'm publishing research paper and selling it to MI6? They still don't actually. They just ignored it the next day, like I said they would. They just forgot all about it.
I mean,
Why do you think I'm here so long? Of course, I'm writing research papers being paid by the white man to collect research on African tribes and how you guys organize yourselves. Of course, all of that is true. He's gonna formulate some theories. Yeah,
bro,
yeah. I know supervision. That's 100%. I am actually writing research
look,
papers.
he's not going to say anything that hasn't been said already, so he's not going to make any money off that paper.
That would be a
Let's just
massive
be
dub
honest.
if you're actually doing that. Like you're
Of
getting
course, I am.
paid
I made a whole stream about it, Caesar.
by your university to do research in Africa.
No, not my university. By it doesn't matter who is paying for it, but yeah, that is one of my jobs.
Bro, Caesar, let's be honest. How many research papers are that? Like, bro, most research papers have like 100 readers and like
What's that
200
mean?
citations from niggas who didn't even read the paper. They just cited the paper because they have similar titles, fam.
No. Yeah. I'm publishing it on stuff like high impact factor journals, so I get more readers and shit. But yeah, and I know what you mean.
Let's just be honest, bro. Apart from the peer review and a few other stuff, most people don't read research papers, bro. They just go to the section that is relevant to whatever topic they
Yep.
want,
Sure,
and they just cite that area.
Sure. But I usually publish in high impact factor journals, so like over like 25. So only like top 0.00 whatever percent of researchers can do it. So mine do get read. Like I even checked on my PhD. I think I had like 1,000 readers at least, and like
1,000 readers. Kaizo, can you chill? You probably edited like one thing in the lab, and they like, okay, we'll put your name on the paper. I know how research papers work, buddy.
Wait, Caesar,
Exactly.
for my PhD. Are you insane?
Yo,
Oh, you did it for your
Can-
PhD though. Oh,
Caesar,
shit. All right.
Caesar, this
Never
guy was
mind.
just there to clean the stuff at the end, and they just put him as one of the lab.
That's how the West conquered Africa. You see, what happens is
Division.
Oh my
as
God, this
for the
old
white
head
man, what they
fam.
send people in to do research paper and send the reports back to
Yes, we know. IC3, we
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
There's a there's a book
So the
written on
opposite,
this.
yeah. So the opposite would be what I'm working on.
I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah,
I
you're
quit.
right. We're going to conquer Europe one PhD at a time. Thank you.
Abby. Ike is a mess, man. He needs to be destroyed. He says Judah is a whole separate book. This guy, I just read that shit, man. I'm like, nah, this guy's a mess.
But what about Tyrone, fam?
Oh shit, Tyrone family. That's like a sequel.
That nigga needs 3 volumes. He needs 10 volumes. Volume 1 to 10.
Yeah, that's a spin-off, man.
So
Tyrone
basically,
family.
the plan is when I create this other autonomous sovereign entity, that entity will be making reports that only come back to that central black entity, that black African entity, therefore getting power and leverage by the knowledge it's getting, rather than selling that back to the white people, which
Yeah.
goes back to their risk assessment, goes back to their insurance, which goes back to fuel their system of racism with their actuaries, because the actuaries make decisions and set ranges based on reports coming in to build their system. So we need to do the same thing for us.
Yeah, no, you're right, AC3.
That needs to be on pay-per-view, bro.
Yeah, but IC3, see, let me explain something. IC3, right? If I was you, right, and I made my channel based on a really specific, boring intellectualism,
That shit would get 3 views, man.
exactly, I get 3 views. IC3. So you at least
Yeah.
understand.
IC3, you almost made me fall asleep even when you were talking right now. No disrespect.
Yeah. So therefore you have the balance. You see.
Yes,
You have to
I do get balance, right? Sometimes I get annoyed of their low IQ stuff, so I have to do high IQ. And sometimes I get annoyed of high IQ, so you're going to go back to the low IQ.
Yeah, that's right. That's the true Mason. That's the true builder, hard and soft.
Today there was a woman, right, that called in the show.
Oh.
Right? Some dusty woman who thought she could come and talk over me. I wasn't gonna have that, right? I know you guys think I never moderate. That's
Nah, okay, so a tear dropped down my eye when you did what you did.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Right. Look. That's the thing, right, bro? You're not a panelist. I don't owe you any allegiance, and you think you're gonna talk over me? Like, for real? I think maybe people think I'm nice, right? If you're a panelist, someone that's regular, that's a whole different story, right? But
Okay, so let's just be honest, man. Number 1, she's a woman. How the
And a
fuck?
woman. I was about to say that a woman.
Exactly.
The woman.
Just, Jesus. Worst of all, she's doing all that while being a woman.
Exactly. Acting like a wild hyena. I'm like, bro, that's not gonna happen over here. That's not what this is.
Man. Oh my
Right.
god.
No, but okay, so let's be honest, man. That whole scream was just traumatized old Negroes going back and forth from both ends. Traumatized old African heads versus traumatized old FBA Negroes, and I include Nakmizi in that as well. Her Nakmizi. Honestly, bro, let's be honest, man. I know every time I say this, people come at me, but these old heads, bro, they're useless. Let's just be real.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Adult Supervision says village sound ASMR. Okay. Hello. Today, welcome to the Kaizorian experience. We are cooking the food from the Gambela tribe. It is called kocho. Anyways, yeah, I might do some ASMR, right? I know a lot of women over here. People like Audrey Kemi wants to hear it while she's doing bad things to us. Etc. Let me keep quiet. Okay, yeah, shut up. I'll definitely consider that adult supervision. Exactly.
The next they're gonna ask you to start an OnlyFans, bro.
Only one fan will join. Yeah, just be one person. Right? Yeah, OnlyFans. IC3 will be there.
The
So
only
what's
fan.
the Kaiser's like that, like, oh yeah, you like that African? You like that African? Yeah, take the African, and then IC3 will be like, what's the solution? Yeah, this nigga will be watching it and asking me about solutions. It's like,
Okay.
nah, allow that, man.
Bang on
Hazel,
that.
you see
Go on.
what Flex Up said though? He is right,
Yeah,
bro. Let's be honest, man.
only wangers. I'm done. IC3 looks like you have OnlyFans. Oh yeah. Oh shit with that. Oh yeah, IC3. Yeah. Go ahead, put your camera on. Yeah, you got all that shit there on your hands, like the stuff with your handcuffs and shit. You'll be yeah. You oh shit. You should think about making OnlyFans so you can
No,
fund the black.
IC3 is on the government's watch list, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
The government's watching him. Yeah, so they'll be. Hey, listen, they'll join your OnlyFans ICT just to see what you're doing. So make it. You'll at least make bank.
Yeah. I'm going for power, not money.
Yeah, you can do race
Power.
bait and get some power there while you're at it.
IC3, bro, let's be honest. The way you plan on getting power, you're going to need to live for the next 2,000 years, bro. This guy thinks he's going to build from the bottom with Africans, bro. You're going to need.
What?
You're going to be.
What?
Who's that guy from? Who's that guy from DC Universe? You know Vandal Savage, right? The guy who's immortal.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna have to be. He's gonna have to be immortal like that nigga. IC3's plans needs 2 millennia of planning in Africa for it to even have a chance of succeeding, bro. This guy's gonna go village to village trying to convince Africa.
2025. You watch how fast this is gonna move. You watch. It's gonna be one of those curves. Yeah, you watch. 2025.
Okay, shout out. IC3 is gonna burn. Oh, okay. I thought you said bomb the prison down, but anyways, free the blacks. No, look. IC3 generally, I am an anarchist. I don't believe in prisons and all that kind of stuff. I think they're inhumane and should be abolished. You should put them in factories where they can work and produce value in the economy. So
I mean, the prison is a factory. What are you on about?
Like a real factory, like where they produce real stuff. And
Yes,
can actually help.
dumbass. Most American prisons have a factory right next to them.
Exactly.
Right, okay, then I want to make Africa like that. That's what I'm talking about, right?
The factory is where they go to bed, bro. I mean, the prison is where they go to bed after days of work. You know what's so funny, Kaiser? You know what they do? These guys would work in the factory for like 12 plus hours, bro. They're getting paid per hour like $1, and they have to spend it in the prison tuck shop. And they have to spend it in the prison tuck shop. And like let's say a Dorito in the outside world, let's say it's like $2. In the prison, it'll be $5. So they're just taking the money.
Wait. Now I'm done.
That's the
They're working
economy.
for
That
Doritos.
is the economy.
Bro, that's crazy.
That's
That
how
is
the economy
crazy.
works. You see.
Wait,
So the prisoners don't get paid shit.
Ecosystem.
Kaizo, I'm telling you, man. Kaizo, I'm telling you, man. If I was the leader of any African country, I'm implementing that same system, bro.
Nah, that's wild, man. Working for Doritos is crazy.
Bro, the prisoners would be making the military uniform, the military boots, everything. But every military equipment would be in-house except for the machinery, because I don't want prisoners to get their hands on bullets and shit.
Of course. Yeah, nah, that's crazy.
You pay them pennies and they give you back the money in the prison tuck shop for soap and stuff like that, bro.
Yeah, nah, that's insane, man.
And have you thought about the quality of prisons with relative to society? Like even in London here, I've been in the prison down City of London. They give you a book to read. The food is a lot better. So, and I heard that's even in the prisons in Norway or Sweden. It's almost like luxury. So the worst.
Yeah, actually, yeah. The 13th Amendment is a problem.
What? Hold up, bro. What Dorito is almost $6.50? No, that's
Now
crazy.
these countries are cucked, man. Like I thought they were high in Africa, but yeah, in other countries they're just as bad. That's crazy. It says if you're getting the smallest size, it's $2.19. That's crazy.
Yo, these conversions are crazy, bro. Like a Dorito here is like even the small one. When you actually do the conversion, it doesn't add
It's
up to
actually
$2.
cheaper. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I thought, okay, let's use UK. Maybe UK is just cheaper, but like American prices are crazy, man. That's insane. That's
Okay, so
2.9.
bro,
Yeah,
20. This is like 20 rand, even more than 20 rands. Actually, it's like 30 rand, bro. That's a big
yeah,
Dorito, but the large one would change.
yeah.
In fact, it's like 22. Nah,
Mhm.
no 25. Nah, bro, that's crazy.
That's crazy. That's insane.
So what we pay for the big Doritos, these guys get the small Doritos with.
Chilani, what the F you man?
She's fat, bro. What do you expect? And then she's in
Nah.
labor already.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, she's married now.
She's
Right to
expecting.
Samara. Shut up, to her, man. She was like, I ain't marrying no dusty Somali. I'm gonna get me myself an Arab so that she can better the race. She believes in Blanquisto. Bettering the race.
I mean, she's already Arab. Let's be honest.
They're like a real Arab with no African DNA, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, come on, Kaiser. If your options are Somali man, come on. Let's be honest.
You gotta be realistic. That's true. It's historically, prison in America were used to re-enslave Black Africans. Well, not Africans, Black Americans. Africans after we were so-called freed in 1865. Yeah, it makes sense. You know, they had to put you back to work because without them, they believed that you guys would just resort to, you know, not working. So you
Okay,
know,
so
that's why the white
if
man.
this was your option in life,
Yeah, I'm done. This guy, I lie. I lie. I mean, man, he's gonna cry again, man.
bro, you got to be chased out of the group. Bugs Bunny.
Yeah,
Crybaby.
I
I
don't know
need
how
to
he
know that, by
lobbied.
the way.
The thing is, Abby, the funny thing is, I asked all the people that had veto power, right? You know, I'm not going to name them here, but to basically pay to kick you off the stream, they all said no, not because they didn't have money, but because they were enjoying your
There you go, bro.
craziness.
I'm a likable person, bro. They fear me and they like me at the same time.
Man,
Not fear me as in I'm gonna do something to them, but they just don't
now
want
you
to piss
sound
me
like
off. Because I'm a
brother.
bully, bro. I'll bully you all day, every day, man. Every time I see you, I'm just gonna keep poking at you until you break.
Our mothers
Look at that
carried us.
guy. He hasn't been on your channel since, has he?
No. Well, he is just in the background. He doesn't call in the shows, but they're
He's
always there.
literally nuts. He's literally nuts. He said the only way Africa will unite if we become an Islamic republic. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
See, you know what, Abby? I know how to manipulate people like Caesar. You know how you find out what their egos value, then you align your concepts with that ego valuing concept, and that's it. You can get people like Caesar saying the craziest shit against other people. So shout out to you, Caesar.
What? Like what? What the fuck?
Islam is an example of a thing that your ego
Yeah,
value. Yeah.
if I want you to get in a beef with Somalis, I'll just come at it through the angle of religious freedom, and you're gonna say something that's gonna piss off the Somalis
Yep.
or the religious people.
Religious
They're
freedom.
gonna come on panel. They're gonna say one or two. They're gonna say one or two things, and then you're gonna get pissed off. You're gonna start insulting them, and within 10 minutes, it's gonna be a West African versus Somali battle.
Hey, well, that's because that's one of my values, and if that makes them upset, then go to hell.
They're gonna
Interesting.
call you.
Yeah.
They're gonna call you a chicken bone throwing dusty Bantu, and then you're gonna call them inbred, blah blah blah, an Arab
That's you.
Arab ass kiss, all that stuff.
I don't do that. That's you.
Yeah, Abby, remember that stream what I did when I was coming for you for being a psychopath? I was waiting for one of these retards to be like, Kaiser, that's literally you explaining yourself. Almost none of them did that shit.
I had to point it out, bro. These guys are
Yeah,
retards.
you pointed it out, right? Maybe Storyteller tried to point it out, although he's being careful in his deliberations. I was like, bro, I'm explaining myself in a stream, and these Africans are just out here, you know, doe-eyed and lost and shit. Oh yeah, shout out to Yoel, by the way. He's holding up the Eritreans with all the fat super chats lately. Shout out to you, brother, over there, right? Shout out to you.
Yo, there was a time when he disappeared. He's back now.
Yeah, it probably
I
probably
thought
had
it's
to
how
go
you're
pay
talking
Isaiah's
about.
visit. No, he had to go pay Isaiah's tax.
He had
To
to,
visit.
he had to
No,
pay his dues in the
yeah, he had to
contained
pay
in
his
the
dues.
desert.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of. Oh, by the way, I got a question for you, adult supervision, right? How do you deal with the dust on this platform versus the high IQ stuff? Let's say well, high IQ stuff that me and Ike talk about sometimes, right? I really want to see what you're thinking. Like, were you like thinking, damn, this guy's retarded here, and here is pretending that he's not retarded. What's going on in your mind, right? I've always thought about that. Yep, that's what I think about when I sleep. My father's mother. Dang, that's a long lineage. My father's mother carried an African term also. Your father's mother. Okay. We only
All of us
received
can say that.
citizenship.
What the fuck? No accomplishment there.
We only received citizenship
Why
in
didn't
the
you just say
country.
my grandmother?
No. Black Americans, some of them have this like storyline that they want to portray, obviously. Oh, okay. You could be doing nothing. Okay, I get your
Nigga,
point.
bro, okay, so what makes more sense? Saying my grandmother from my father's side or my father's mother? Like, what's easier to understand? What gets you
Yeah,
to
but
visualize it?
it makes sense though. Think about it, right? He might be from the South, right? He might even still be in that position. My father's mother, when I was 5 years old, right? I'm sure you. Yeah, I do have a reason actually. Adult supervision. It's all part of my chaos plan, 100%. Yeah, I think Caesar thought I hated Nigerians when he first came here, right? Because we used to go hard on Nigerian women, looking like the
No, I
frying
never
pan hit
thought
their
that.
face on and some
No,
shit.
in the beginning, one reason why I could never grab onto this channel was the Bantu stuff. Like the word Bantu was said like every minute.
Listen, only non-Bantus are offended by the word Bantu. I've
Yo,
never seen a
Caesar,
Bantu.
how are you going to explain the fact that your fellow Nigerian fighter got beat up for 5 rounds like a runaway slave, bro, and got knocked out?
You want to know my honest opinion on that? I actually don't even want Africans in the UFC like that.
Well,
Bro.
isn't Yoruba actually? So he's not really your people.
He's still my brother. I don't do that. I'm
Didn't
not
you
as tribal as some of
fight
these
them
older people.
for freedom? Because Yorubas
Keizo,
decided to
Keizo,
join
when
the
he's
government.
a champion, he's Nigerian. When he
No.
loses, he's from New Zealand, fam.
Despite what it might seem like, I'm not nearly as tribal as some of these older people on here. I'm not that tribal.
Mm-hmm.
Also, my mother's Yoruba, so it's like I don't have hate for Yorubas or whatever. That's weird.
Oh, your mom is Yoruba. Okay, mashallah.
Yeah.
Does she look like Chimamanda, the other one, Ngozi?
No, she doesn't look like that.
Okay. Don't worry, your mom is safe.
And also, my
Keizo,
girlfriend is
but
Yoruba, by the way.
Keizo, we need to stop saying Nigerians aren't Bantus, bro. Because whether they're Bantus or not, they still identify with Bantus. Because every time a Bantu gets insulted, they feel insulted. So really, they are Bantus, bro.
It makes
Keizo,
sense.
on one end, they say they're not Bantus. But on the other end, when people insult Bantus, they get offended. So technically, you're Bantu, bro.
Everyone knows that we're all the same.
It's like Keizo. It's like when you notice when Somalis get when Arabs get insulted on the space. You don't see me getting offended. It's the Somalis that get offended because they still identify with Arabs, whether they say it or not. Especially
you were there actually. What do you mean? Some girl literally called up because we were insulting Arabs, and she literally called up and started
she was Arab herself,
for like 2 hours.
Yeah, some Somali chicken.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that stream.
Yeah, but like Caesar, you see, when you do well for the white man, shout out to the white man, right? He blesses you. These days, I'm able to make at least $3 to $5 a day through ads. That's great. That's allowing me to pay half of my rent, from ads. That's amazing. So shout out to the white man, right, doing his thing. You guys.
Wait, how much is your rent?
You're in his world. The white man.
My rent is about ideally it's $200 a month. Although I don't have to pay that much, right? I can move somewhere cheaper if I want.
Well, Kaiser, you speak Swahili though.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I had to learn it though, relearn it because at first I pretended to be like either Congolese or Rwandese at first because You know, I didn't want to like get scammed, right? So the accent thing. If I pretended I was like another rich country, obviously things would have been more expensive. Now I can kind of put on a fake Kenyan accent, they think I'm a rich kid from Kenya. Now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they think I have like this Nairobi rich kid
So they
accent.
still gonna scam you.
Yeah, those skills, but not as much as before. Before, like, imagine this, right? Everyone, even the beggars scam you, right? They follow you around the street, right? It's like, no. These days, I put on this mean face and they leave me alone.
No, I have a pretty good
Bro,
Nigerian. Someone
last
asked me
time I was in Ethiopia, bro, this
Yeah.
this kid made me accidentally fall, bro. I was passing somewhere and this kid kept following me. So I'm looking behind me and I'm telling him, yo, leave me, leave me. As I'm telling him, leave me, bro. Like there was a rock I didn't see, bro. I hit the rock and I fell. Bro, when I got up, it's a good thing that kid ran away because I was going to body slam him into the ground.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Bro,
shout out to
see, I don't know if you've been to Africa, but if you look like you're from the outside or if they feel like you have money, these kids will follow you for like 200. Bro, they will follow you until you give them money. I'm like, yo, I'm going to kidnap one of these kids someday, bro, just to teach them a lesson.
I've been to Africa, but luckily that has not happened to me. Thank you.
Nah, Caesar, I think for you, they just look at you, they're like, nah, this nigga got no money, man. He just looks like his parents fed him. That's it, right?
No, I don't. I don't.
Mhm.
I don't give money to people like at all.
Yeah. You can't, right? The moment you do, what happens is that usually, like, okay, some of them are scammers. They work with groups and gangs. You give them one, but they follow you, they track you. If you're not rada, in Kenya we say the word rada. Rada basically means very aware of your surrounding, the environment, and scammers, right? If you're not rada, you're gonna destroy your life. So you have to be rada when you're in Africa. Really rada. Don't go out here.
We also have a word for it.
Mhm.
Built when duriye. And the other one is when you're just a retard. They call
Yeah.
you nefus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's fala. Fala is a word when you're retarded.
Or baria.
Yeah.
Oh, fala. Yeah, you're right. That's the more of an Oromo word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Be aware of your environment, the jungle.
Look, I'm definitely going to Kenya.
Caesar.
I'm definitely going to South Africa. By the way,
Caesar.
What about Tezo? Have you ever heard Teba?
Which one?
Teba.
Yeah, Ajay
Yeah.
Bata. Yeah, I literally call myself Ajay Bata as a joke. Like literally, I
What
lean
does
into
Ajay
it.
Bata mean?
Soft life, soft kid. Like
Oh,
you're
soft life
kid.
ambassador. That's what we
No,
say.
let
in
me
Kenya.
not say soft life, but you grew up like your parents were
Soft life
filthy rich.
ambassador. That's
Yeah.
what we call them here. Soft life ambassadors. Ah, yeah, exactly. You look like you're
What do you
soft.
call them?
Soft life ambassador. Like people like Caesar.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Tezo, I thank God every day I left Ethiopia and went to South Africa, bro.
focus on
Because
bullying
when I
and
think
shit.
about it, fam, if I grew up in Ethiopia, I would have been that soft nigga too, bro.
Hey, you'd have been like
It's just
Caesar,
that
man.
in SA,
You'd have been coming here. It's like,
yeah,
oh, don't make
I'd
fun
have
of
been Caesar,
Ethiopia.
bro.
We hold as African
I would have
too.
been, I would have been Caesar. But then, obviously, I went first in Eswatini, then SA, and I mostly hung around with like coloreds and blacks and so on. But mostly they're like, yeah, mostly they are part of like the street life and stuff. Like my best friend back when I was in Eswatini, bro. Think about this. My best friend back when I was in Eswatini, because it's a small country. There's like only like 5 international schools there.
Right.
So, bro, this guy, his dad was pretty much like the top drug dealer in the country, bro. Because Eswatini is also known for illegal marijuana and cocaine trade. It's like Benny. It's like things country, but from the south. It's
That's
like
crazy.
Amilcar's country, but
Nah, that's crazy. Now, Caesar,
Kaizo,
obviously,
you know where they used to live, Kaizo? Obviously, because the country's small, you know where they used to live. His house. Okay, there's the house he used to stay in Monday to Friday, so he can be closer to school. But the main house that his dad used to stay in, bro, that shit was on the border region, bro, in the forest, man. It's just like when you're driving to the border, you just see a huge mansion on some mountain area, bro. That whole land over there behind the mansion is just growing marijuana and coca plants, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but Caesar, at least you know that we don't really come for you for real. To be honest, listen. Ike is a simple example. The fact that Ike's never sent money to kick you off a stream, you're definitely not a bitch to that level. You see what I'm saying, right?
They got
And he's
What are the people I hates the most, man?
Ike doesn't like bitches mostly. That's it.
Yo, but there are some people that get on Ike's nerve as soon as they get on panel.
I don't really. There's no one really.
Hazel, I wanted to say this. Hazel, you, as much as you talk shit about Africans, you have some African tendencies about you. You are just as superstitious as a lot of Africans. Bro.
Oh shit.
Oh, right. Shit.
Want to be globalist.
You know why I'm saying that?
Yeah.
No, you know why I'm saying that? Remember when Two Niger put a curse on me, quote unquote curse on me?
Yeah, I remember that. It goes,
Bro, Kings was like, no, Two Niger, please remove the curse. Two Niger, please remove the curse. Like, the curse is actually going to work or something, bro.
Nah.
Like, the curse is real. Like, you took it like it was real, bro.
Okay, I get your point, right? But look, people like Niger is emotional, man. If he put that curse on you, and then imagine you, I don't know, man. Yeah, you're right. I did pay $2 to one man just to remove the curse against you. That is true.
No, but Kizo, that's the thing. Like, who gives a shit? His ancestors have been cursing the Anglo men that colonized them for over 2 centuries. Bro. That shit hasn't worked, bro. This shit don't work. Like, I wouldn't. It didn't even cross my mind that he cursed me. Like, as soon as he just let it go, like, I forgot about it. But you kept it going. You're like, no, to Niger, remove the curse. Remove the curse.
Nah, storyteller. I literally go for storyteller. People see my feet. I literally go for pedicures and I paint them and shit. So definitely not got the African feet, man. I actually go for pedicures, right? I even paint my nails and shit.
Okay. A little too far, but okay.
Caesar, let me ask you a question. How is painting your nails related to homosexuality? It's not even remotely related.
Caesar, but how do you believe in that stuff? How do you handle the contradictions of believing in that?
Okay,
and also,
some nigga put a curse on me over here in these platforms, and I got arrested.
Really?
Yeah.
Curses are real, you know, John Tapp. Curses are real. Yeah. The curse of Ham, we're still under that. It's been a long time.
No. You see, the curse of Ham is that's the issue. IC3 Hamites aren't even bantoids, right? Caesar's a bantoid.
That wasn't even a curse on Ham. It was a curse on Canaan. It was a curse on his oldest son, who's not an African. Anyway,
it's still the same.
Canaanites are people like the Philistines, right? It's nothing to do with Africa.
Point. AKA the Palestinians.
Yeah, Palestinians. You see, the Philistines, ancient Philistines are the modern Palestinians. That's the curse of Ham. They'll be the servants of the servants, right?
The modern Palestinians, you could say the modern Egyptians as well.
No, curse doesn't work that way. They're a group of people. They interpret the Bible how they want to do it, and then the curse organizes them.
I can tell for you, Caesar. It says Caesar's getting hard right now. It says Kaizo pays his toenails. Listen, Caesar, even if I was gay, I'll be the one bending the over. I would not be the other way around.
I mean, I don't think it makes you gay. I just think it's the most. I don't see the point of it, but whatever. I mean, maybe I painted clear, but like blue, like
is he? Yeah, is he? Avi, you see, that's where he exposed himself. He even knows the different styles of paints that you can get.
What do you mean? I'm a human being. I know how people paint their nails. What the heck?
Don't know the clear one, right? That's when you know someone is sus, right?
The clear one's okay, but blue, like, not what do you think about this? That's strange.
Anyway, shout out, we got a new panelist. What's good? Curti. By the way, one man is on the other show. If you want to engage with them or if you want to chill with us, you can chill with us here. So what's going on? What's good?
What's good, bro? I'm not new, but it is what it is. I'm using a different name though.
Oh, it's Yoel. What's good, brother?
Who?
Oh, it's not Yoel. Who is it?
No, it's Eunice.
Obviously, it's not him.
I don't know if you remember it though.
Eunice Habisha or which one?
No, Somali, bro.
Oh, Eunice.
Yeah. Used to be here for a while, remember?
Yeah, I remember him now. What's good, man?
Yeah, what's good, bro? Long time I came into the panel, bro.
Yeah, long time, but hopefully you catch some shows on the background while you're taking a shit or some shit.
Oh, what are you guys talking about?
No, we're just having fun.
We're talking about Kaizo being gay, bro. This nigga paints his nails. Can you believe this bullshit?
Who? Who's gay?
Kaizo.
Oh, Kaizo. Damn.
No, apparently, right? It's a rumor. It's not necessarily
it's a
true.
rumor. Okay.
Yeah.
But rumors are sometimes true, though.
Yeah, you know, all they have evidence of is because I paint my nails sometimes, right? Like red or black and shit.
Oh, brother, that's a big giveaway. There's no that for me. That's like 90%. You're a faggot, my guy.
Uh-oh. Yep, we all shouldn't. Okay, yeah. So Eunice, man, what's going on? Were you from Canada or America? Which one? Canada, right?
Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought so. Now I fully remember everything, man. So yeah, what's going on with you? Are you in school or?
Yo,
No, I'm done, bro.
Okay, mashallah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So what you been up to then
yo, Kaiser.
recently? Yeah.
Afridamus was
I'm
deep in
just
his
kind
bag
of
today,
busy
man.
with life, bro.
Avidamus is what?
He was deep in his bag today with
Deepiness?
his stream. Did you see his stream?
No,
No, what was
I
this?
only.
He could insult the two people he likes to insult the most:
Oh,
the
Somali.
FBAs and the
That's
blacks,
correct.
because of that the break Somali chick.
Oh,
Yo, he came smiling, bro.
Nah, but you see, Abby, look. If I made like streams about those topics, the stream would end in 5 minutes, right? We'd literally just talk about the futility of the whole thing in five
For
minutes,
like
and
two
then
seconds, and then we'll leave.
that's the problem. Yeah, like I
Yeah,
don't understand how
especially
these things can.
yo, Kaiser. When
Yeah,
you do that Somali topics, bro, I don't know. For some reason, shit
it
goes
pops.
crazy.
Yeah, it's I'm not gonna lie, yeah, Somali and then also Nigeria versus South Africa.
Yeah,
Those topics get good,
yeah.
Oh
good
shit,
engagement.
Kenzo, just whenever you say X group versus X group, man, that shit is going to pop up, bro.
Yeah.
exactly. It's a thing.
Generates
People like
money.
it.
No, it makes me money too, and it gets a little bit of dust and engagement. But
Yeah,
obviously, I can't
definitely.
do it all the time. My brain would like hurt. That's the problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brain.
You did it today, man, with the Nigerians. No, with
Oh
is
yeah,
it
Black America versus
the
Nigerians.
African
Yeah.
uncles and the FBA uncles and aunts,
Oh yeah, that was actually a
the
good
old
stream.
niggas,
Yeah. Yo, Chilani, go
bro.
back
That
and
was
read.
that was the greatest. That was the greatest bit of trauma fighting. You know, there's trauma
Yeah.
bonding and then there's trauma fighting, bro. Trauma. Yo, another person who's not mentally up there, Zulia, bro. That guy, he's just like the old heads, bro.
Yeah. Look, no comment on Zile, right? Because he donates, so I can't comment on him. But if you guys want to check out that stream, I just posted it in the chat right now. But yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, but here's the thing with the babbling, right? Look, I know Ike comes from me, says I'm a bad what do you call it? I'm a
Moderator.
bad moderator. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. Here's the thing, right? I don't like dealing with babblers. I don't know how to deal with a babbler, right? Someone just goes on and on. Like I make my statement, make it short, sweet. Niggas come here and starts giving a 20-minute dissertation on their. It's like why? Just make a short, sweet point, move on, let the next person go ahead.
But some people
Storyteller,
don't get
Zulia didn't get bullied by Nigerians. He just got bullied, period, bro. Like by everyone.
No, Zuli is a nerd, obviously. So he's like, here's a thing though,
Yeah,
right? It's kind
he's
of
saying
weird.
he got bullied by Nigerians. I'm telling him he got bullied by everyone. Like, there's a difference.
Hey, do you
Oh
guys
right,
Remember when?
right.
Remember
yo, do
how
you
he
guys
even came on your stream, bro?
hear me out? Do you guys
It
remember
was,
the what do you call it, the haplogroups talks?
Oh, those
oh
ones are
my god.
crazy, man. The
Not gonna
banter.
lie,
Those days
those were
was
your worst
crazy, bro.
streams, bro.
Oh God, I hated that shit, bro. Jesus.
No,
Yeah,
but you
that
got
shit was
here's the
crazy.
thing, right? You might have hated it, but you were there watching those streams about
Yeah,
haplogroups
Now,
and
Kendo,
it was
honestly, I used to
interesting.
be.
Yeah, it
I'm not
was
even
new.
lying to you.
I'm gonna tell you that it was kind of new to like the panels and shit. It was the new topics and stuff. But bro, some people were ripping the haplogroups like that. Like it's fucking what do you call it? It's their fucking
Hey,
identity, bro. That is crazy. When you put
bro, I remember.
haplo,
yo,
huh?
Jonas, you're right, bro. They used to ask each other, "What's your haplogroup?"
That's
E1B1. Oh, I'm
crazy.
E1B1 too. We're the same.
He's gonna get you from one guy from what do you call Egypt or Morocco with the same haplogroup, or even Europe. I don't know, Southern Europe, and he's saying like this guy has the same haplogroup, so we have to be similar. No, bro, bro. I'm gonna tell you, the reality is people are closer. Like in terms of if you want to what do you call group people together, it has definitely something to do with geography. So let's say people close to your country. Let's say so. Let's take example as what do you call Somalia and what do you call Ethiopia or Eritrea or Djibouti. They're close together, right? Even Yemen, bro. So there has to be some links, yeah, but you can't get someone from fucking Morocco and say that this guy is related to me more than
Yeah,
more than a person that lives in Eritrea, bro. It's crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
haplogroups are not supposed to be taken on an individual basis. You're supposed to
No.
get them on a mass, like as a metadata, and then use it to analyze migrational patterns and so on and so forth. These guys use
I'm
it like
pretty
it
sure
was like,
it's 1,000 years ago, right?
Nah, you
yeah,
know what's
like
mad?
okay, you take a group of Somalis, like let's say 1,000 or 2,000 Somalis, then you collect the data on the haplogroups, and then you compare it with other mass haplogroups from other groups as well to see if there's any patterns or migrational patterns and so on and so forth. These guys use it like it's some ancestry linkage or something,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
on
I'm
an
pretty sure.
individual basis, I'm like, yo, these guys are dumb as fuck.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure genetic makeup is more important than haplogroup, right?
Yeah, but look,
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? Like, I remember the Somalis were crazy when you start seeing, like, you know what? We're more related to North Africans than Bantus. And I'm like, bro. That's haplogroup, right? Ideally, you're more related to Nilots, right? Than everybody else. But the issue is, yeah, people, I think, yeah. But I'm not going to lie, I missed those conversations, man. They were crazy. Look, Mo Solomon was out here trying to prove,
Nah,
like,
Kizo, they were too
see how,
dirty, man. These guys talking about each other's haplogroups like they're studying again, bro. I'm E1 V1. I'm EV1, whatever. Shut up,
Yeah,
bro.
EV
to be honest,
something.
I'll be on 1 second.
Identity is everything.
Abby,
Identity
I'm
is
actually their
everything.
ancestor because I'm
Yeah,
EB12.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Identity is everything, but you can't use haplogroup,
But that's a
bro.
bullshit. Haplogroup is a
That's
bullshit identity.
it's a bullshit, bro. That shit is bullshit, bro. You go by your fucking parents, what do you call it?
Yeah,
Ancestors, some shit. Yeah, your forefathers. That's
It's
identity, not
it's
fucking
almost it's
haplogroup.
almost as bullshit. It's like the nerds version of
wait,
zodiac
I
signs or
suspect,
something, bro.
is that you in the
Yeah,
chat? PCH rights? Is that you? You're saying the same shit that you say. Is that you? Yeah, I see three.
No, what's it say? Think about it. White supremacy has made it a religion to hate black people. They reinterpreted the Bible and undo God's word. So yeah, he's on it. PCH is correct. White supremacy is a religion, is a faith. Faith goes to do with trust and goes to eventually ends up in the bank with risk management.
Here's my question though. Look, this
Yeah.
is my question. If you guys really are anti-Christian as much as you claim you are, why don't you just leave it? Like, bro, Kizo, how many black Christians are there that try and twist the Christian words? There's Hebrew Israelites, Hebrew whatever, Bantu Israelites, like 20 different versions of interpretations of the Bible. Why don't you just go back to doing what you were doing before the Bible, bro?
Nyla, to answer that, I do think that the Black Christian world is a little bit more advanced on that concept. There's so many Black Christians have already made their own churches. They've already kind of made it their own thing and divorced the whole
What is a black Christian, bro?
like, for example, like a Redeemed Church. You're familiar with Redeemed churches? Do they have them in South Africa?
Bro, a redeemed church is nothing else. It's just a copied version of from the American South.
Yeah, but
Christians from the
I
American
think
South.
those
That's it.
churches, I think a lot of the churches have already removed the whole yes, there's probably still a white Jesus somewhere, but it's less
All those
controlled.
churches, yeah. All those
Redeemed. I used to play guitar for Redeemed. They used to pay me like $40 a week, which is decent at that time. When I was
Really?
a teenager. Yeah, I used to play the musician, like a guitar specifically. Then my whole band used to play for them.
I mean, he was in the UK though.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't really see white worship in Black Christian churches anymore. Like, I think that's over with. I think they've already moved past that.
Wait,
Bro,
Kizo, they used to pay you $40 a month. Kizo, wait, hold up. They used to pay you $40 a month
No, a week.
when you're in the UK.
Sunday.
I thought you said a month in the UK, bro. That's
$40 every day.
If you compare the two, like Christianity versus Islam, for example, like in Islam, some people even have Arabic in their bio. Like, if you attack Arabs, they get offended. But but you don't see that with black Christians. Like
Okay,
you can
okay.
attack.
Bro,
Wait, let me finish.
I'ma
You
tell
can
you.
attack.
Yo,
Let me
yo,
finish.
Caesar,
You
stop.
can attack.
Caesar,
Let me
Caesar,
just
stop.
finish real quick.
No,
You
Caesar,
can attack
Caesar,
white
stop.
people, and black
Caesar,
Christians are
stop.
not
Caesar,
mad.
stop. Caesar, you're chatting shit, bro. Go to
It's
any of your
true.
redeemed churches.
It's the freaking truth.
Okay,
I
let
can
me
go to
finish
my
my.
church right
Okay,
now.
let me finish my
Bro, you
sentence.
can't. No. Let me say one thing though.
Oh
Let
my
me say
god.
one thing. You can't compare Christian.
Go and attack. Go say
No,
something
hold
bad
on,
about
bro. Hold
Israel in your
on.
redeemed church. Let's see what happens.
You can't, bro. Listen to
Bro,
me.
I've done that
Listen
before.
to
You
me,
can
bro.
say shit about Israel. A lot of Christians have already moved past that.
Yeah, one second. Let me ask Eunice a question here. Eunice, how come you don't have a single Somali name? How come you only have Arab Islamic names? Why don't you have even one Somali name?
Okay. Let me tell you the difference between Christianity and not even Christianity. The difference between every religion and Islam. In Islam, bro, we are the issue with Christianity and other religion is that they are too separate, bro. The segregation is crazy. If you look at Christians, the white Christians say we're different to the black ones or the other ones or like the Latinos or the Asians ones. They're all segregated, but in Islam,
Yes, they're different
we all,
denominations.
bro,
You're right.
hear me out. In Islam, all of us who kind of like a family, bro. You can take someone from Somalia and someone from Indonesia, bro. We would understand each other. You know why? Because the principles are very similar. Everything is very similar. That's why you will see a person from Somalia and person from Indonesia and Senegal or Saudi Arabia. They all have similar names. You know why? Because Islam is not only.
But it's still
Huh?
racism, though, isn't there?
Because of Arabic, right?
That's
You
not.
know,
How's that
the
racism,
Arabic
bro?
word.
How's that racism? No. How's that racism, though?
I hear that.
Nah, he's a
Well,
hug me Negro, bro.
How's that even racism? I don't understand.
I was in Saudi Arabia, and
Uh-huh.
they told me, "Come." I was there in the country, and they said, "Come, I show you where your people are." When I saw where
How's
the
that
black
racist?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's cap, but
black people.
Saudi,
Wait, hold
bro,
up. How's that
Saudi,
racist? Hold
why
up.
do you
Wait,
think
stop. Jonas, 1 second. How's that racist? If I went to another country and they said, "Oh, yo, pull up, let me show you what the Jonas," if you went to another country and they said, "Yo, let me show you where your people are," and they showed you where a gang of Somalis are, is that racist, bro?
No, repeat it,
That's
bro.
weird. I
Repeat
don't know if it's
it. No,
racist.
hold on. Repeat it, bro. I didn't hear you.
If you went to X country and they said to you, "Yo, let me show you where your people are," and they
Uh-huh.
showed you to a place where Somalis stay, is that racist, bro? You're
Uh-huh.
just trying to help you.
No, that's not racist. How's
That's
that even,
weird, though.
bro?
That is weird.
People, no. People, no. I'm gonna tell you what's the issue with the world right now. People became
From where
way
the
too
black
soft,
people
bro.
were in Saudi
No.
Arabia.
People became way too soft. That, bro. If I tell someone you're fat, he's gonna make a big issue about it, bro.
Why are you telling me he's fat? Why don't you mind your own business?
Because he is.
Bro, you
Yeah, if he punches you in the
people
face, you
just
deserve it.
no. The dunya went mad,
You know,
bro.
you're fat, you must be fat as fuck, bro. No disrespect.
No, I just
The fact
like
that you got to film
it's
is
just
fat.
hilarious. That's how Africans think. If I tell someone they're
Caesar, how
fat,
much you weigh?
they're gonna be mad at me.
Bro,
Like,
Caesar,
why
how
are
much you
you
weigh?
think fat?
is everyone thinks like that, bro. The only people that fucking thinks like you are the lefties and fucking liberals, bro. That's the
Bro, if
reality.
someone tells me I'm fat, we're gonna have a scrap. Who do you think you are? Why do you think you can tell me
Caesar,
I'm
how much you weigh?
Abby,
bro,
shut up. I'm not fat.